早く来いクラウド。
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to finally our part 2 stream about talking about this amazing game known as Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Of course, I gotta bring back the boys for this, the reunion bros, excuse me, for this. And we'll start off with my good friend Carl of RNG. What's up, man? Thanks for coming back for this.
Yo, thank you for having me back.
Awesome. And my other good friend, our how do you say this? Our spiritual leader in this, Jason, of Tons of Fun. What's up, dude? Thanks for taking time to hang out once again.
Yeah, not a problem at all. Thanks for having me back.
And of course, our man in the chat, who's also just as autistically in tune with this game as all of us, Ernest Ferratu the Vampire. He likes to change his name on like a weekly basis, but yep, he'll be here as well in the chat, just dropping some lore knowledge for all of us, and let us know how the audio is too, buddy, because I gotta do some audio balancing back here. But besides that, so last time when we finished off on, it was the Zack sequence in Chapter 7, specifically while you're hiking Mount Corel. And then after that, we kind of just started talking about some other random stuff. And we had to end the stream. So I would like to pick up from where we left off with that. So that was, and the nice thing is that was actually after a boss fight. So it's a bit easier to go from there. But if you guys recall, so after you get done seeing the Zack sequence that we were all waiting like 7 chapters to see, we move into the actual kind of like Mount Corel dungeon, which was really interesting because prior to that we did the Mithril Mines dungeon, which was pretty fun. It was, you're playing as Barrett and 13 as well. But this time around, we've got Yuffie with us, so now the party has been split between Yuffie, Barrett, and Tifa. And I wanted to start off with Jason here, man. And after like playing Intergrade, right, with Yuffie's DLC, how did you think that they handled this dungeon because you basically take control of her. She's the main character for this dungeon. What were your thoughts about it, and especially compared to like the original game?
I mean, Yuffie, you just see how broken as a character in this game is, and I don't mean like as like personality. I just mean as like a gameplay character. I mean, she was great at Integrate, and this one just shows like, oh, she's super quick. She can do aerial combat ridiculously well. You can tell that she's still her ninja self, that they're trying to portray that as best as they possibly can in a way, by doing some of the rope stuff and everything. But yeah, no, you could just tell like as fun of a character that she is portraying as like, I'm trying to steal materia, be fun. They try to put that into her gameplay.
Yeah, and what's interesting is like how in depth this dungeon is, considering that in the original game it was like 2 or 3 screens that you walk through, and then and that was it. So, with Carl being Yuffie's #1 fan in the chat or in the stream, excuse me, what were your thoughts about this dungeon? Compared to what we did prior to.
To be honest with you, I'm kind of like blanking a little bit about this dungeon. So
it was in a mines. It was kind of like in a quarry in a mines.
I can't really remember too much about. This is after the flying robot fight, or
yes, after the flying robot fight.
I'm trying to remember that a little bit more. Like it feels like this part in particular, like I just kind of tuned out because it's like everything after this, like with Barrett's story that we're gonna get into, the Golden Saucer and everything else like that. Like I remember that way more versus this one. I just kind of feel like it's just like a black hole. I think I was just playing through it and didn't really think too much about it, to be honest with you.
That's fair. I mean, it is more or less just a stepping stone for the story to get to like the next main crazy part of the story. Is this the section? I'm trying to remember. Is this the section that had the first appearance of the weapon or weapons or whatever, like the baby weapons, as I think the community calls them. If not, it might be later on. But I remember like the Corel reactors in this area. I just don't remember if you saw it here or if it was like in a later chapter. But yeah, besides that, just everything that was expanded upon this dungeon was pretty crazy in this area. And the boss fight you did against the Gigatrice, with none other than Cloud Jr. making his appearance. Which is funny because I remember kind of getting spoiled by some marketing for this game when I saw like this Cloud Jr. character, and I'm like, what the heck is Cloud Jr.? And I thought it was a chocobo, but it wasn't. It's like some other creature, some other like little bird. But that whole sequence, like that whole little bit when they're like they realize like, he looks pretty similar to Cloud, and they're like teasing him about it, was really funny. But even though the more funny part was just the fact the bird was like attached to Barrett and hanging around him, and then when we get to the sequence, pretty much the final sequence for this chapter, when you're on the minecart and you're doing some good old DK action on the minecart, and the bird.
Shooting.
What's that?
The rail shooting, the actual rail shooting on rail shooting the boxes.
yeah, the rail shooting. The fact like the bird, he like stuffs the bird in his like coat or whatever, and then they get on the minecart. Now, that I like that a lot because the minecart gave you an option like who did you want to increase your relationship with, and it was all based off of the prior decisions you made with because this level you bounce back between the two parties, and the prior decision is based off of how you set up the tracks for the mine cart to follow, which is where Barrett, Yuffie, and Tifa are going to be riding on. So, and I was kind of curious, like, between us three, like, who did you guys, to get the rating, the relationship rating for, who did you guys give it to? I'll start with Jason.
I believe it was Tifa. If I mean, because it's so long ago, but like, if I had any choices with her, I probably would have done that, especially if it was with Barrett.
Yeah. Did you simp for Yuffie in this sequence, or is it still a black hole for you there, Carl?
It's coming back to me now because I remember the giant weapon popping up with the huge materia and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I just needed it to kind of kick back in my memory. I don't really remember this particular part. It probably was Aerith though.
Well, it's so basically, you're actually only choosing between Barrett and Yuffie for this sequence.
Probably Yuffie then, yeah.
Okay, because what I remember is Yuffie, like, if you choose Barrett to help him out, Yuffie like yells at Cloud. He's like, "I hate you," while you're like flying through the air on the minecart. Because that was just hilarious. But yeah, the shooting mechanic was pretty cool. Like you said, an actual shooter on rails. So
yeah.
I turned up this volume, by the way, guys, so hopefully he's a bit louder now.
Yeah, I remember the Cloud Jr. part. I remember the railways, and I remember just kind of being a little bit repetitive, constantly going up and down and around when I was exploring this area.
Yeah.
But this area is just like I said, I just can't remember it too well. Like while we're talking, it's jogging my memory, but it's just like this area in particular, just like I think because as the story progressed and it got better, like this area was just so minor comparatively speaking in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, just intermission to get for the story. Before I continue, I gotta say hi to Jana Banana, one of my loyal viewers here. What's up? Welcome. I guess I could have prefaced in the beginning, even though there's a big banner that says on the top, we are going into spoilers. So if you do not want to be spoiled by this game, I highly recommend that you don't listen to us and go play the game, because this game is fantastic. It's I mean, it is truly a work of art for about 90% of this game. So definitely, I recommend if you're a big fan of the original Final Fantasy VII, you should definitely go play this game, Rebirth, remake and then Rebirth. But yeah, I don't want to spoil it for people because I believe in like people should be able to experience it on their own without like anybody spoiling it or ruining the experience for them. So You're being asked by the chat to speak a little bit closer into your mic there, Carl.
All right, we'll see how that goes.
Cool. I will boost him up just a little bit more. Hopefully that works. So, yeah, without anything else to really add to this kind of like intermission level, yeah, we get done and we get everybody to the other side of this mine, as well as we see the reactor with the baby weapon sequence, which was a new thing that was added. And I'm very curious to know. I know. Okay, so later on we see what they do with it, but I'm kind of curious, like, why this was kind of done and like what the purpose is, and I'm wondering if they'll increase on it in the next part. What were your thoughts, Jason, when you first saw those, like the baby weapon, I guess?
Yeah, the only thing I could think, because I didn't really notice it, as big of a deal as first, because again, I mean, I'm more focusing on Barrett. But the only thing that I kind of took as it is because how Barrett says, like, he's for the planet and all that. This is just a way to maybe say, like, oh, the town that he grew up in was all about the planet. So I mean, if the weapons are there and the weapons are there to protect the planet if anything goes bad, maybe just that was just his connection towards it, and just why he's so like started Avalanche and was so gung-ho of like, we need to save this place, not just because it's our home, but like he has this more deep-rooted connection than we kind of think.
Yeah, and man, they really go into it with this whole Barrett sequence. And so what we saw basically from the beginning of the game is how every character is kind of getting their own lore dump finally. Well, not every character, but most of the characters are getting their own lore dump.
A lot of them.
Yeah, and of course, Barrett, they have to go all out with him for this sequence because if I'm remembering correctly, basically in part 3, there's not going to be a lot more to really do with Barrett. So they kind of have to, for main story type stuff, they need to really go home with this. And I think for the I think it's called Krell Village, that town that you go into after the mountain. I thought it was probably the most accurate looking town out of like all of the recreations of stuff, because there wasn't really like a whole lot to change. Now, I completely forgot about this. Did you remember seeing a train track in the middle of town? Because of the original game and what happens later on. Because I don't remember seeing the train track unless I wasn't like paying attention, but.
Yeah, the minor details on that one right now is I don't remember.
Okay, yeah, because this coming back to me because I was just watching my wife finish the game, and I forgot about that. I was like, oh, there's a whole weird train sequence that happens. Hopefully, it will happen in part 3, and yeah, it ends in the Corel town. And anyways, but besides that, just the atmosphere when you walk into the town, right? You're like, people are treating Barrett a bit odd, and I thought it was like really well done with the music and obviously in the acting and everything, and it really adds to the mystery behind Barrett a bit more. I mean, you're just experiencing it with all these what do you call this, like sensories, like the visual and the audio as well. So what were your thoughts there, Carl, then, when you exploring the Corel town?
Very, how do you say this? Old westerny, dying mining town feel to it.
Yeah.
Like that's like I think the vibe that they were going with. Obviously, I never played the original, but you can really get the vibe that they were trying to play out, that this town is basically just a zombie town.
Yeah, barely hanging on.
Yeah, it's barely hanging on. People giving Barrett like the looks of like, why are you here, kind of deal and stuff like that. How can I say this? Like I said, gave you that real classic, like, to relate to like a Midwest, like Rust Belt town. It's like a classical story like that.
Yeah, it was, man, like just the level of detail, just with everything that you saw in that environment, it was truly fantastic. I mean, yeah, and then just going into this and knowing like where we're gonna get to with Barrett, especially with like the dialogue that you hear from people around you initially, where they're just like kind of making fun of Barrett and they're like questioning him. Uh, yeah, that was it was definitely starting to drive the knife into you a bit harder, or twisting the knife a bit. So, um, yeah. So the next one sequence that happened that was actually really interesting was the whole situation with the doctor. Um, and I'm drawing a blank on this, but Jason, that really wasn't in the original game, correct? Like the doctor was there, but I don't think there was like a whole conversation with him, especially with
Yeah,
talking
with the
about
arm and everything.
yeah. Yeah, go
Yeah.
ahead.
No, yeah, I know there was like that dialogue with them, but they didn't like. I don't remember in the original game with anything like that. I could be wrong on that one, but I don't believe there was anything.
Yeah, and just like Nas says here in the chat, the kind of the big thing that they dropped on us was the fact that the doctor was the one that kind of treated Tifa after the Nibelheim incident,
Yeah.
which was like kind of, I'm pretty positive that was a new thing. It was a really big thing because that will yeah. Anyways, like that was just kind of like whoa. So now we know how she survived because in the original game there's
Yeah,
no
yeah, 'cause-
explanation to it. So
No, like yeah, there was no explanation on that, and then there was also no explanation. It's like, okay, why did like what is the connection between Tifa and Barrett? Like, was Tifa just bored and wanted to join something? I mean, she was like a bartender at the time. Like, why did she do this kind of why did she join Avalanche? But now there's like, oh, there's more of a connection of like, oh, she knew Barrett because of this situation as well. So it just kind of gave a little bit more.
yes,
A fleshed out backstory.
yeah. Got to connect those dots somehow, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So after you kind of like walk around the town a bit, actually, what's cool is at this point you can actually leave the town and go out into the desert for a little bit, but you'll kind of get stuck because there's like the game doesn't want you to go full out exploring quite yet, but yeah, running across the desert. I was very curious how they were going to handle that because in the original game, the overworld wasn't like it had desert, but it was more like just the plains or whatever. But this time around, they're really trying to nail the environmental theming. So, yeah, there's an actual like desert you get to cross, and once you're kind of like done messing around, we get to one of like the most important, one of the most crazy scenes, important scenes, I should say, and that's when you get up to the you walk up to the station to get to the gondola to go up to the Golden Saucer. And that's when people start like the party starts pressuring Barrett, like, "Hey, what's going on here and whatnot? Why are you being this way?" And man, I was not ready for this scene, especially even though this is like kind of like the first part of the Barrett's grander story. But holy cow, they like went really all out with the storytelling, of course, with playing on people's emotions and like what like building up to like what happened with Barrett and his buddy dying. Now, for you guys that played it in English, how was the voice acting in this scene, particularly with Dine and Barrett? Did he have a Western accent, by the way? I don't.
No, not
Mine have a
really.
Western accent? No.
Okay.
I wouldn't say. I
No.
can't recall that. No. I think it was just generic, normal sounding,
Yeah.
standard issue American voice.
Okay.
Yeah. And then yeah, if like for me, and this is where my I guess bias will take. There's not to me a lot of bad voice acting in this game and for the English. So I mean, I might have rose tinted glasses when it comes to this, but like I think the voice acting in this game is just fantastic. So
I agree.
yeah, I'm sure there's parts, but like to me, this game is just what voice acting in a game should be.
Yeah, I thought the voice acting was really good, especially because the voice actor who plays Barrett did a really good job.
Yes. Did you like Dine's character design there, Jason? Like, did it because like you see him for a brief, well, not brief, you see him for a little bit in the original game, but like, what'd you think about because he is kind of more or less a new character. Like, what'd you think about his character design?
Yeah, I thought it was fine. Like, I mean, like I said, Dine in the original one was just, traditional, like, a character that you would see that would live there kind of thing. So, like, them taking liberty just to kind of give him a little bit more fleshed out, kind of details in 3D is just like was great. Like they didn't divert too much into a certain way. They didn't do anything crazy. So I mean, when that he popped up, I'm like, all right, that's Dine. Yep.
Hold on, I'm trying to chastise a chat member right here, Mr. Nosferatu. There we go. All right, so yeah, so we get teased a bit about Barrett's like history with this town and why everybody's like kind of giving him a cold shoulder. And it's crazy too because you see Barrett now with the voice acting and like how he's like this one character, and then you see him in the past. And it was really neat that the voice actor, and this goes to the writing, of course, they were able to really make a distinct difference between the Barrett in the past and the Barrett now. And it's a combination of the writing and obviously voice acting. So I thought that was really neat.
Yep, and that's a huge thing is because you can see how like the I don't want to say positive, but you can see the looking ahead kind of Barrett of being optimistic. That's what I'm looking for. And then you can see of a broken person now that's has a purpose because of that optimism was kind of taken from him.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, I mean, it's the... Oh, go ahead, Carl.
I was going to say, like, Barrett has, like, that very, how do you say, stereotypical kind of backstory of, like, the guy who thinks he's doing really good for his town and everything else like that, just trying to think of his family. So it was kind of nice to see like this different side of Barrett that we really don't get to see too often because he's kind of more buffoonish or like has like the my daughter, I can't wait for her to grow up kind of deal. But it was different because it felt more like Barrett was like serious, and that's what I really liked about it.
And then again, you can also just tell too, because like Barrett is always in protect mode, but you can kind of see the different versions of protect mode. Protect mode here in the past was I need to protect what I have, what I have that I'm building up to, and then what we have later on is I have to protect so I don't lose what I have left.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, man, I just the storytelling once again, with the writing and the voice acting really sells the game for me as just like a crazy experience. And I have full faith that they'll deliver again with that in the third part. And that's what I like about modern gaming is there's more emotion, more energy that you can feel from these games that have great stories because of like the modern technology we have now to be able to do this. I'm not saying that like the old stuff was like inadequate. It was great. But now we have these tools and they can fully utilize these techniques and whatnot. And I mean we're just hitting the tip of the iceberg here. But anyway, so
I say the best way to describe it like is like the past gaming was like if you were building a house, you need a foundation and you need the skeletal structure of the house to do it. Well, we had that and it was great. So now why don't we use that same thing? But now with modern gaming, we can build like 4 extra spare bedrooms, one with like a man cave kind of style thing or a den. You can add all this extra stuff because we have it. Can some of those rooms be bad in a house? Yeah, but most of the time it's there just to make the structure of it just more
better,
fulfillful and better.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So moving forward, we finally get onto this this gondola and we start riding up. Now, this was besides the actually no, this is the very first pre-rendered cinematic that we see in the game. I don't think there was one prior to that, not yet at least. But yeah, this whole cinematic of going up to the Golden Saucer, which I think for me, when it came to locations that I was looking forward to seeing being recreated, for a lot of people, I think Golden Saucer was definitely at the top of their list. Like, how are they going to pull this off? Because for those of us who play the OG, when you're running around, you're just like, this place makes no sense whatsoever with the the navigation, jumping through these like slides and these portals or whatever. And then the way it like sits on into the landscape and all that jazz. Just how are they gonna pull off this monstrosity? And they were able to do that. And holy cow! I want to give it to Carl though. Like, how was that, man? Like seeing this like insane like theme park that you're going to. Or like, all right, so we're going to a theme park now.
I liked the whole glitz and glamour of it. It felt really nice and cool to be there. I liked when they were just like making the girls dress up. I liked all the big crazy mascots everywhere. Then you got Dio just dropping out of nowhere, and it just seems like anyone that's named like Dio, they always have to be like the most over the top character in any way, shape, and form. I know 3 Dios in my life, and they're all insane for different reasons.
Yeah, I think that was a concern people might have had about this game with like censorship or whatever you want to call it. Like, are they gonna have this like super muscular dude running around in like underpants and a cape? Like, how are they gonna pull that off? And they did it. Like they absolutely did it, and I think everybody was just like really taken aback by that. So.
I wasn't taken aback by it. I've watched enough Japanese media to expect at least one of these guys to pop up in some way, shape, or form. I didn't realize that Dio was like such a big part of the storyline. You know what I mean?
Yes, yeah.
So like that's the part that kind of caught me off guard. And I will say, like, once again, we'd run into, oh, look, another mini game that you want to play, and then the correct answer for me was no, I don't want to do this. I just want to go back to playing the game.
The main game, yeah. What was your thoughts about like the whole, what would you call it? Like the opening parade or whatever there, Jason, or like the show that happens when you walk in and there's like a whole dance number and everything. Like, was that over the top or was that just necessary? Like what are your thoughts about that?
So what I really liked about the rebirth, or the new way of how they described the gold saucer, is like, yes, it's an amusement park, but to me, especially with riding the gondola, whoever's been to Las Vegas, when you're landing, it literally kind of reminded me of seeing that. Like, it's a desert around just city that is just full of gambling and just tons of entertainment kind of thing. So when you're going up and then you're getting there, if you ever been to Vegas, you just know how crazy, I use that in quotations, like it can be. But it's just like, hey, here's a taste of a show that you should go watch, giving out coupons so you could go watch the show. That's what it kind of reminded me of. So like, they took it as just like, we're not an amusement park, we're Las Vegas. Instead of landing in a plane, you're riding a gondola from the desert.
So the connection there is hilarious. So what you're saying is that this gave them a great excuse to go on a business trip to Las Vegas. Then the guys that
yeah, like I said, I mean, if the people who've ever been to Vegas, like, can kind of like, you really do see a parallel. And then, I mean, I didn't pick this up. I mean, then going back and playing the original now as someone who's been to Vegas, you kind of like, that's kind of what they're shooting for, in my opinion, anyway. But as now an adult that's been there a few times, it's like, oh wow, yeah, that's they did a great job kind of putting that together.
Yeah. That's funny. I didn't even think about that the fact that this is in a desert and it's like this amusement gambling place, and how it just parallels Las Vegas. I don't know how I never thought about that.
Yeah, because like when you land there, or when you leave there, if you look in the plane, like, it literally is just nothing but desert, and then just like a gigantic square of just lights and like city and everything like that. So like when you leave Vegas, there's literally nothing. So even like getting to the airport, like sometimes like there's like leaving to welcome and all that time, like there's just nothing. It's kind of crazy.
Oh boy. Yeah, so after you do this whole dance sequence or whatever, and you're watching, just kind of having fun. I know, Carl, you kind of hinted towards it about the mini game. So like they brought this game called the 3D fighter game, or the polygon fighter game, excuse me. And for me, yeah, I wasn't ready to jump into that right away, but I know it was like kind of just a way to tease like what was ahead. did you go back and play this mini game afterwards, or did you just only do this part and then that was it? Like, what were your thoughts on this like polygon fighter?
Is that to me?
Yes, that's to you.
I didn't know who you were talking
Oh.
about. I didn't like it. That's just really what it was. I didn't like that initial mini game. To be honest with you, I didn't really gravitate too much to them. The motorcycle mini game was in this one, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the one I enjoyed the most, but that's also a carryover from the first game too. So
Yes.
that one I didn't mind. It's more so like later on when we do the chocobo racing. That's when I really started to enjoy more of the mini games again.
Oh yes. Yeah, so it was interesting to see like the 3D polygons and like this environment, and then like the way they like advertised it, I guess you can say, like, hey, this is like a new mini game now or whatever. But yeah, I too was a bit agitated, like, come on, I just want to continue with the story, because at this point, like, I was just ready for all of the story now, because I know we're like getting into the meat of the story. But
Right.
I understand, like, it was interesting, but I wish it could have been implemented a little bit differently, but that's just a personal preference. So but yeah, after this, the party like kind of splits up or whatever, and you have the chance to go to the different locations. Now, I want to go through this first, but I know you were I knew you were gonna like this location, Carl, and that was the haunted house hotel.
Yes,
Because I know like that's like kind of your vibe and whatnot. But walk us through like when you get to it and you're like walking around looking inside. Like, how was it for you? Like, yeah, just explain it to me, like, and to us watching. What are your thoughts about it?
I just liked it because I like all the creepy kind of like spooky stuff. I may not be a religious man, but I am a spiritual man in that type of sense. So I Halloween is my favorite time of the year. So when I walk in and it's like this creepy rundown haunted house, bats are flying everywhere. The staff is like all bandaged up and they're like falling down like spider people too. It's like, yeah, you know, like, yeah, I would love to stay at a hotel like this, you know? It's like, it's just like, it has that, like, perfect theme to it. Like, like, what can I say? It just is like, I want Halloween to come faster just for that reason. You know?
Yeah, it was really cool to see this kind of like recreated in 3D, and like you said, all the attention to detail with the costume, the environmental design and whatnot. I completely forgot one important thing that actually does happen prior to this, and I'll let Jason take it away, was the implementation of Kate Sith into the story. So in the dance sequence, he appears because he's kind of like the what do you call that?
Almost like a concierge.
Yes, that's what it is. Yeah. Yeah, he's basically like talking about it or whatever, and like leading the dance or the announcement of it or whatever. But after that, you see him in the hotel. So like here you go, as your first time hearing, or not hearing, first time seeing Kate Sith in this Rebirth series or remake series. How was that for you there, Jason?
I have a
First time
complicated
you'd see him in the series?
No, because you saw him in Advent Children, so he was like a 3D version of him was in it. Oh, not first time. You're right. He was in remake as a scene. My bad. I meant to say like voice acting and also with the fat Moogle as well. That's what I meant. I meant by that.
There you go.
Yeah.
Hashtag fake fan. We called him out.
Yes, you got.
Yeah.
It's over. It's over.
Yeah. No, I have a complicated relationship with Kate Sith.
Me too.
Yeah, it's like he's not my favorite character in the game. I understand and I welcome what comes later on. But as not knowing anything, and again, we'll get to spoilers later because I like to keep everything what we learn kind of as we get there. But as just have him showing up doing what he's doing, it's like, all right, I could deal without you. But I mean, for how dreading I was, like when I knew I was getting here. I'm like, all right, we're gonna have to deal with him, all that kind of stuff. Uh, I didn't want to just be like, all right, get me away from him as soon as possible. It was kind of like, all right, yeah, you come along, like one of those kind of things.
Yeah, I like how you describe that. You're like complicated relationship because for people that grew up playing the original game, it's very well understood why you would walk away with that. So um, I don't remember. I think in Advent Children. Oh no, wait. Was Advent Children ever dubbed in English? I might be asking a dumb question here. I don't think it was.
Yeah.
It was. And
Yeah,
Sure
Advent
it was,
Children
'cause
was
that's-
English. Yeah.
Yeah, I say because that's where we got Lance Bass.
okay.
That's where I got the PSP.
Okay.
Yeah.
So did Kate Sif have the weird stereotypical Scottish voice actor?
I can't remember.
I don't think he did.
Okay,
But
so
I much love the Scottish voice acting. That's my favorite part about him.
because I was curious to ask, like, especially like you guys in the chat, like, did that throw you guys through a loop? You're like, oh, so he's got a Scottish voice. Like, I'm just curious because in Japanese it's different. But yeah, like, what were your thoughts on that? I know you like it there, Carl, but you specifically, Jason.
It did bother me. Again, I like when they take like liberties of be like, okay, what is this gonna sound like? And like it didn't distract me from what was supposed to be being said and everything.
Okay. Yeah. So in Japanese, his voice, not really like voice acting, but it's more like his language and his what do you call it? I'm drawing a blank here, but he was talking.
Accent.
Not really accent. Dialect. Sorry, kind of like a dialect. Was different.
Yeah.
And in Japanese entertainment, specifically, you kind of notice this in games more. If there's kind of like not a goofy character, but kind of like a different character, based off of their behavior, they always like to have that character speak with this like specific dialect. I would say comedic character, because that dialect comes from like the comedic center of Japan, I guess you can say. So I think that's the reason why they do that. And I thought it was kind of funny. It worked, at least in Japanese, it worked well for his character. And I think it was pretty fine when I listened it in English as well. So, just, yeah. Anyways, like Jason said before, the English voice acting is like probably one of the best for a game in modern time, and for all the characters matching really well. So, yeah, I wasn't too concerned about that, but. Yeah, so in the hotel, you see Kate Sith again, and that's when you get to do the whole like fortune thing, which was really interesting, the fortune stuff all over again. And then after that, I want to make sure I'm not missing anything important here. After that is when you get a little cutscene with the fat dude from Shinra. I'm trying to remember his name. Because what happens is you get to the hotel, and I like this whole sequence.
Yeah.
You get to the hotel, and they're like, the rooms are all booked, and then like Kate sits like, oh, are they? And then he does something funny with the technology, and then they're like, oh, there's a vacancy now. And the one guy shows up. I don't remember his name now.
The board member, the fat board member.
Yeah, and he shows up with to the two Turks, and they're like, hey, we're gonna check in now. And they're like, oh, all the rooms are booked. And then they're like, what? But I had a reservation. And they had this like whole kind of spat about it. I thought that was just really funny, just how that was all incorporated. And the best part about it was the board member was just like, oh, whatever. And then he just kind of like, I thought he was gonna get really mad about it, but he like didn't really care in the end, and he walked away. I don't know. That part to me was just kind of funny because I thought it was gonna go a completely different direction, and it didn't. So, but. So I need to talk about when you get inside the room there. Actually, I'll start with Jason. When you get inside your hotel room, man, what did you think about all the like little details inside the hotel room for like this haunted house or whatever?
That was a lot of work that they did for just like a room. It's like, I mean, that just shows like how the quality of the game. Like that's just like they didn't have to do all of that, and they did, and that was just for a tiny section of a room that not doesn't matter, but like it matters to fans because of what they know, um, what the game is the best way I could describe it.
Yeah. Yeah. I bet Carl here was just having a field day running around and interacting with the different objects in the room. Um,
Hmm.
I bet it was very. I mean, it's very theme park style with the different objects. Like, what were your thoughts about it there, Carl?
I just like I said, I just like the theming of the room a lot. If I recall correctly, it had like one of those chests in there that was a fake chest. If I
Yes,
recall, a mimic.
a mimic. Yep.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, this is pretty fun. You know, it's like I would definitely stay here. You know, this is a place I would have went on my honeymoon with my wife.
Nice. That's a fun. That'd be a fun time then. One of my so when I was playing this, I was showing this to my wife. She lost her mind when she saw the Toneberry dehumidifier walking around in the room. I don't know if you guys remember that.
Oh, I do, yeah.
And it was funny because uh, she was like trying her hardest to research online if there was like an actual product of this because she's like, I really want this now. I want this for inside her house because he says the Toneberry says some funny things. Like if you just stand there and listen to it talk. And she was just losing her marbles over some of the dialogue that this little like Toneberry dehumidifier was saying. So, um, yeah, it was pretty cool just to walk around and interact with the different objects and see like, man, the animation that went into all of that too. Like Jason said, like they didn't have to go all out for this, but they did. They just put like all this extra animation in this sequence. So, um, yeah, man. So getting to the next really important part here. So we get Cloud to go take a nap because he's had a long day, working hard, carrying people through the desert or through the mountains and everything. And as soon as we do that, we get real quickly another Zack sequence, which was really odd because of how the timing of the last one to the beginning of the game, and then now the timing to that last one to now was like much shorter. So, and this sequence, or was actually my bad. Yeah, this sequence, you get to see it from Cloud's perspective as he's kind of like in this weird vegetable state. he's just watching Zack interact with Aerith. Is there anything that stood out to you in this situation, Jason? Specifically afterwards when Zack goes downstairs and talks to Aerith's adopted mom and of course Marlene. Like, how was this all for you?
Um, this was just me trying to gather as much info on the two worlds, or which worlds are we in, kind of thing, because how everybody doesn't know, or everybody knows somebody in one area, not the other area, and they haven't met, but now they have met. And then I'm just trying to go back to like original game, adding that stuff up of, because again, Cloud has that coma in the original game. So is this all in Cloud's mind? What's going on? Because again, it feels like when he's sleeping, he's seeing it in his head. So is there a trick being played? Like there's a lot of little things like that going on.
Yeah, it was, man. It's just after seeing the very beginning, and then you get that last Zack sequence, and now you get this one. Like they're just really pulling on your emotions for all this, and they're really. It's just everybody collectively leaned forward, in their chair
Oh, yeah.
when they got to like these seats. I thought the interaction with like Marlene, or not Marlene, Elmra and Zax was really interesting because basically they've never met each other in the original series or like the original game, and so now you've got like characters interacting with each other that you never thought they would. Especially the little sequence between Zach and Marlene, which is really funny. So it's funny because Zach is definitely a people's man. Like he definitely can interact and vibe with anybody, and he tries his best to vibe with the heartbroken Marlene. Man, that was kind of rough to watch, though. It was a bit rough to watch that. So, um, eh, sorry,
The
going.
emotional scenes they really hit in the game. Like
Mm,
that's what that's what one of the best things about the game is, like, if it's an emotional scene, it definitely resonates.
yes. What if I? What about you, Carl? Like this whole sequence. Once again, we had like a long gap between the first beginning of the game to the first Zack sequence, and then now we have like another one kind of short. Uh, like what were your initial thoughts on this situation?
I like I said, I just like the more introduction of Zack. I didn't play the first one, like the original FF7, so I, I don't really have like an opinion that could like add to this. I'm more interested in just like listening to what you guys have to say, just to see how like all this stuff is introduced. Because basically, I ran through basically the 4-part Final Fantasy VII kind of series so far. You
The
know.
gauntlet.
Yeah. So I didn't play the original, so like these moments are like probably more geared towards you guys that of like more so than me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. So after like this is all said and done, we you know, Cloud wakes up, he goes out to the door, and this part was interesting because this was in the well, a piece of this was in the original game, like the concept behind it, but depending on your relationship level with your party members, they would be at the door waiting to talk to you. And for me, I guess I focused too much on Tifa, so I had Tifa waiting for me outside the door. What about you guys? Do you guys remember? I'm talking about the very first time because I know there's another time coming up, but the very first time,
Tifa as well.
yeah, Tifa. And was that the same for you there, Carl?
I had Aerith.
Okay, cool. I don't know why I thought like for some odd reason it was only Tifa, but then I saw like other people's playthroughs and they had Aerith as well. So I guess like you could go on two different dates. The second day will be later, but this whole section of like exploring, going on the date, or it's not even a date really, but just hanging out with one of the party members. Um, it was fun. Like it was just kind of like a nice break from the action, a little bit of the action, or kind of preparing you for, okay, things are going to get a bit crazy here soon once again. So, oh, by the way, thank goodness there was a teleportation system in the golden saucer, because I kept getting
Yeah.
lost running around. So I know in the original game it was just as bad, like trying to remember like where to go and whatnot. But yeah, go ahead, Jason. Yeah, the teleportation was just really nice.
I mean, I liked it just because, again, everything should be all synced up together anyway. Just because, again, the Las Vegas area and everything. But like, I liked it because, again, I'm especially after all the cutscenes and getting the story. I'm like, okay, I got to hit all these locations so A, I can see them, and B, I got to figure out the story, what's coming up next. And then obviously, I know it's even after this because the original game, I want to get there because I'm ready to get destroyed emotionally again because I know what's coming up as well.
Yes. The man with a plan here. So going through and just kind of taking each area in, and I'm trying to pull up a map real quickly so I make sure I get all of them accounted for. But I thought they did a pretty bang up job with just the different areas, and the different squares. Excuse me, the different squares, even though they're more like circles, and the like environmental theming that they did for each of these squares. So the first one we were in was the one with the haunted house, and then after that you kind of have the freedom to go around because you need to go around and like set up your warp points so that it's easier for you to warp around. But man, the theater section, which we'll talk about it more later, what a like crazy like redesign that they did with the theater. It looked like a proper theater now. That was really cool to see that. Of course, you have the game center. The game center doesn't look super like packed like it did in the original game, like how like kind of like packed and small it felt. It was a bit more wider and spacious. And something that Nos kind of put up in the chat earlier that was a bit disappointing was they didn't have the Moogle dating sim from the original game, and I'm sure Carl has no idea what that is, but
No,
um,
I don't know what that is. No.
so excuse me, Jason, you'll have to explain to him when you in the original game when you get to golden saucer, like, and you need to get your golden saucer points. What was like the method that you had to basically do in order to start your journey on that?
Oh, shoot. It was pretty much it was the battle points that I was looking at. So I didn't play a lot of the like in the original game. I didn't play a lot of the arcade games as weird as it sounds. The one that I remember playing the most was the what was it, the arm wrestling one?
Okay, yep, there was that one, yeah.
That, yeah, that's what I remember playing the most besides the fighting one. But like the snowboarding one and like the Moogle one, I as soon as you said that, I just had the like the flash, like I forgot about that was in the original one. Um, but yeah, I was mostly when in the original game, I was mostly glued to the battle square, doing all that stuff just because I knew what was waiting for me. Like I saw all the little like when you go to there to turn in your points, I'm like, all right, that looks awesome. Wait, there's materia I can get here. What the heck is this? You know, kind of thing. So I pretty much was locked there.
Yeah, so basically in the original game when you get to Golden Saucer, you have like no points, no tickets to use, and you need to go to the arcade and you need to go to the Moogle dating sim, and all it is, Carl, is when you like you I think you spend Gil, you throw Gil into it,
Yeah.
and then it just is a long like in-game rendered cinematic showing like a children's story of like some Moogle like what do you call that, storybook type of story, and you have to sit through it. Like there's no skipping or anything, and then once you do that you get rewarded with some golden saucer points, and then you can use that to go spend it on the other mini games to even make more money from there. So it was kind of like that dating sim is just kind of like it's just a funny thing because it funnels everybody to the same spot. And I don't know why they decided not to include it in this game. I kind of know why, but I also don't understand why they didn't do it, because they basically moved the Moogle stuff to the overworld collectathon related stuff, mini game stuff, with the Mog House. So yeah, it was, I know, like I remember like back in the day, like Maximilian was talking about how like he's like, if I don't go to the Golden Saucer and I need to put like one gil in and start the dating sim in order to get my Golden Saucer points, then we're like then we're missing something or whatever. I don't know what he said exactly, but it was like really funny how like ridiculous he was being about it, because yeah, that's like part of the original game, and you have no choice. You can't get golden points anywhere else, so, or initially I should say. So but besides that, we'll get to the chocobo racing later, Carl, but did you even go around and try like at least one time all of the other stuff that was in the Golden Saucer?
Yeah, I from what I remember, yeah, I did everything at least once.
What did you think about the Star Fox game in there?
I thought that was fine. It was very slimmed down. Obviously, it was this, mini game. I didn't hate it, but I wasn't exactly, over the moon. Like, oh, this is what I got to keep going back to playing. It's like I got to keep coming back here.
Right.
Play this over and over and over again.
I thought it was
was
interesting.
good.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
That's not what I say. I just say, yeah, it was good.
Of course.
I had to go back to my OG strategy. I forgot to had Super Dunk back in the day too. That was the one other game, the basketball game.
Oh yeah. In the original game I didn't play all the mini games because I was just trying to get in and get out. But yeah, it had in this game. Of course, the dreaded Queen's Blood is in the in the arcade room or whatever. So, yeah, you're outnumbered on this, Jason.
No, if this thing was not called Queen's Blood, it was like Triple Triad, everybody would have been like, oh my god, this thing's so great. Just because it was a game that you had to learn. Like I said, I hated it at first, and as soon as it clicked, I'm like, all right, this is the greatest thing ever.
But yeah, there you can do the G-Bike mini game, which was pretty cool. I liked how they teased the snowboard mini game, and it was just like a big banner display. It looked like it was like an expansion that was gonna happen. Obviously you can't do it, but and then the 3D fighter game was in there as well. Moving there, you had the Sky Wheel, which will be used later, as well as the Golden Theater, and then the Battle Square, of course, is used later as well. So, moving along, it's just interesting because you're walking around, you actually see like some other characters, like the one guy from the Honeybee Inn is in this area as well. You kind of like bump into him. Of course. Your other party members, because you're basically split up from everybody except for the person you had the highest relationship with. They're all scattered around here as well, doing their own thing, and you can interact with them. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, besides that, once you're kind of ready to progress the story, that's when things get a bit serious, and you find out that there was a shooting, because everyone likes a good shooting in an amusement park, and that's when basically Dio shows up again in all his glory and puts you guys. Actually, wait a second. I'm trying to remember here. Oh yeah, you get sent down to the prison, the Corel prison, and what another interesting world that you walk into in the Corel prison there. Man, I don't know if I was ready for that. Like just the characters, the weird like I wanted to say Mad Max type characters, but they're not even Mad Max because they're more like colorful looking. But
yeah, I get what you mean though.
Yeah, like obviously like not the characters, but the surrounding area is very like Mad Max feeling. But the outfit of like the main dude, the boss guy, and everybody's like very gangster and everything. So yeah, so you kind of this part is part of the main story. You're kind of stuck in this prison area, and you basically need to race in the Chocobo race in order to kind of buy your way out. You buy your freedom, which is a bit annoying, and like in the grand scheme of things, it's a bit annoying. But it is still cool to run around and see once again a new environment or environment redone in 3D, and you're kind of getting like that. Shinra, the slums type of vibe from this area. So seeing all the decrepit buildings and everything, and you can go inside some caves and explore, and there's some like decent side quests you can kind of do in this area. But yeah, besides that, you will continue forward, and there's actually a battle arena in this area as well too. Which was interesting to mess around with and try out later. But moving forward to my favorite part of this game, which was the Chocobo racing, and I wasn't sure like walking into it how they were gonna do the controls and everything. Like I was just like, okay, because I figured it'd be this. It's the same. Like what I meant to say is originally when you get the Chocobo in the beginning of the game, I'm like, okay, how is this gonna work with the racing and everything? Oh, but man, once you did that like kind of like test run and you're like learning how to race, and then you do an actual race, it clicked with me instantly. Being the eclectic Mario Kart fanatic, that just clicked with me instantly, and I was just. I don't know about you guys, but I was just like winning like every race with like minimal efforts, except for like some of the final races.
Around, yeah, I didn't expect to be drifting around corners with the Chocobo.
Yes,
I was.
Yes, yeah, that was and the drift, by the way, works better than any of the Sonic racing games. Drifting mechanics, and I'll proudly say that because I like a good drift, and somehow they were able to do it well with the Chocobo racing. So
yeah,
I'll let you, Carl, go ahead and talk about like how was it for you, I guess, running around and doing this Chocobo racing.
it felt really good. Kind of wish that Square would go and make basically a spin-off game just focused on that.
I agree. I totally agree with that.
I like I said, I feel like this was one of the more well done mini games out there, and I could have seen myself getting lost in the whole mechanics of everything else, especially now that you see like Uza Nuzame, whatever that horse racing game / anime is that's been taken off.
Oh yes,
Uh,
yes.
I could see Square maybe just could probably get in something with that. I mean, it's chocobos, man. Everyone loves chocobos. It's a
Imagine in
iconic
the
part.
third, in whatever it's going to be called, like having to get a gold chocobo where we have to do a bunch of races. We just have to play this minigame for like 20 hours or something like that.
Yeah. Well,
I'll do it.
They've
Right.
done other like spin-off games with chocobos. I actually do think that
Right.
they have like a racing game that they already made.
Chocobo Racing GP just came out. I think came out the same year this did, and it was almost the remake of Chocobo Racing from the PS1.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but I just feel like I just want to play this one in particular. Just give it the same quality.
Yeah,
Less cartoon.
same. I totally agree. Yes. And I'll come back to this, but I want to ask Jason, the tracks, like, because the tracks are very different from the original game, like as far as just the look of them, but they still kind of capture the same tone, where it's like you're running around in this like cartoonish world, or you're racing, excuse me, in this cartoonish world. What were your thoughts initially, I guess, with the track design and everything?
I was fine with it. I mean, like, because in the original, most of the track was kind of like Rainbow Road to begin with. So I mean, I just expected, whatever is fine. I didn't honestly have a problem. Like I was playing, I'm like, cool, I'm playing a real Chocobo Racing, and I wasn't expecting all the things that they were given to us. So I mean, to be honest with you, when I was expecting like Chocobo Racing, I'm like, okay, cool. Am I gonna have to set it to automatic or manual? And just have this
Yes.
controller sit? Why I just let the game decide if I'm gonna win this or not? But when it's like, oh no, we want you to actually race this. I was like, all right, cool. And then and then learning the mechanics of like, oh no, you can drift, you can do this, you can play it almost like a Mario Kart kind of style. I was like, oh, all right, I'm actually gonna have fun with this. Let's go.
To give context to Carl here, so in the original game, basically, yeah, it was like an auto racer to a certain degree, and it all came down to how you raised your chocobo with stats, the base stats that it had, and yeah, like it had this weird like mode where it's like you can make the chocobo auto run, or you can manually control its speed. And depending on like it had a stamina bar as well, so if you like gas it too much, it'll like run out of stamina too quickly, whereas like the auto will kind of just balance it out. It was like Jason said, like you're just kind of like praying that you'll win, but if you build like a good chocobo with the right stats, then you can basically win almost every time until you start running into some of the higher difficulty AI. But
or you set to automatic, and then right when you see you're at the very end and you have a bunch, or then you just take up the controller, turn to automatic, and just hit sprint to see if you A, get in front, or B, you could just gas yourself out long enough so you're just tired enough to win the race.
yes.
Right.
And the world, and he's not wrong when he said the world, or the track is like very Rainbow Road style. Like you're basically running on like this Rainbow Road course. Actually, you know what? It reminds me a bit of Chow Garden Racing. If you remember that, Carl, with like how you're going from like one random environment to the next random environment in the Chow Racing. That's how that it is in the original game, but with less polygons, of course. Yeah. So the Chocobo Racing, I have to agree with Nos partially here. It was my favorite mini game, and what was really cool about it was the outfits or the gear that you found on your journey actually had the stats or like the perks or whatever for your chocobo. And later on, like when you actually have more freedom to come back here and do all the races, I was able to find about I found two out of the three for the best build that I was going for, which is like an all gas, like all speed build. And then my buddy Nas here was he was like telling me like, yeah, I have this perfect build, and the one piece that I was missing, you don't get to like kind of like later on in the game, I think. So I had to wait until that point. But yeah, once I was able to figure out the controls, like it was just fun to mess around and try these like kind of shortcuts and try to like cut down on time. And I like I said, it was like my favorite mini game. I never had an issue with it. Um, anyways, just the incorporation of this mini game was like a necessary thing, because in the original game you had to do this mini game, of course, to kind of progress the story. But anyways, yeah, it was pretty cool. And once you're done here, you can finally like leave Corel Prison, and that's when you have the opportunity to continue the main story, and that's when you go out to the desert and you need to go and find Barrett, because this whole time you're looking for a man with a gun arm, and obviously your characters are like, oh, that has to be Barrett. So
Right.
as you progress, you find this kind of, once again, I thought it was really cool, the desert environment with like the rundown buildings or the abandoned type of like material that's everywhere, like the junkyard type of looking thing. Once again, Mad Max type vibes there for me. But you get to this one area and or actually you actually bump into Barrett because of these like twisters or these dust storms or whatever. What are they called? Dust devils. There's a certain
Dust Devil.
yeah, dust devil. I was trying to remember from the old Western lingo there. Yeah, so you find Barrett, and this is where we get really deep into the remainder of his backstory. Now, I wanna let Jason kind of go into this, man. So tell me how it was for you, man. Like you get here, you see Barrett, and just kind of break it down for us, like what's going on with Barrett for this portion of his story.
Oh, God. So yeah, this is where you just see Barrett as
I don't want to say as a person, because you kind of see that with earlier in the game when you don't know kind of what's going on when he's around Marlene. But like you can tell when Marlene is anything has to do with Barrett, that's when his shell finally cracks. So anytime like with his past, anything with all this stuff, like you could actually see Barrett as like, why is Barrett such a deep character? But yeah, when you see Dine show up and trying to figure out what's going on, and then they have the back and forth of, you kind of sold us out instead of, being there for us, when it was the opposite. He was looking, out for them. That's why he kind of did sell them out in a way. And then there's just the miscommunication between the friends, and a friendship that turned not into a friendship, and then you figure out what actually Marlene is to Barrett, and then again everything with his wife and stuff like that. Like there's just so much that just shows like this tough Barrett character that a lot of people just don't understand. He's not this Mr. T character. Like he puts up this facade as it, and again, this game has putting up a facade character as a theme. He puts these walls and these obstacles in front of him because he's been hurt so many times, and you can see that wall just start breaking and breaking and breaking, and until we get to here, and you can see what actually the outcome of everything.
Yeah, I know that this whole sequence is like extended, like they've done more with this
Yes.
situation.
Which they should have, and I'm glad they did, because in the game, like in the original game, it's great. It's such a holy crap moment. Here, I'm glad they realize, no, this is a holy crap moment. We need to, like, this is easily the third, fourth most important character parts in the game that doesn't have to do with like Cloud in a way, but like
Yeah.
this just needs to be sit on and just let these guys act and let this just take over.
Yep. What did you think about that scene, Carl? When Barrett and Dine are like hanging, and then like Scarlet takes the AK-47 and just blats them in their arm. Like that, I didn't think they were gonna do that all over again, but they actually did. I was pretty surprised to see that.
Yeah, it was very brutal for sure.
And obviously with the town burning in the background and everything, like they really sold how evil Shinra is, but specifically like how Scarlet is as well. Because in the OG game they did a good job with that. In this remake series, at least for me, I didn't think she came off as evil, but they kind of brought it back with this specific scene with Barrett and dying. So, um, yeah. So you basically kind of find out like, oh, okay, so this is how he got his gun arm, or like how he lost his arm to begin with. So
Yeah.
interesting way of doing it, especially for someone like you who's kind of like a first time seeing the story. Yeah, and then after that, you kind of you get to a point where the game's like, okay, now it's time for everybody to step back, and it's time for Barrett to kind of take charge and be on his own, and to handle this problem like for the final time. Um, how did you think about this boss sequence there, Carl? Like this kind of like solo boss that you had to fight now with Barrett, because before, if you recall. Obviously, you did it with Cloud in the remake, and obviously you did it with Yuffie as well in Intermission. So now we're doing it with Barrett. Like, for me at least, when I played this, I think I died a couple times because I just was like having a hard time figuring out the mechanics for it. But how was it for you, or what did you think about the boss fight here?
I thought it was pretty good. It felt like I said, it kind of fits into that theme of like that Western standoff kind of feel. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like this whole thing, like I said, just gave me that spaghetti Western kind of vibe a little bit to it. You got like the dying town, the bustling city, and then it's just like now you got like the man, basically squaring up in the final shootout. You know, it's like we're meeting at dawn kind of feel to it.
And Jason, like I thought it was pretty cool and pretty insane to see like how they put so much effort into making Dyne seem very like out of it, like just how not crazy, but like he was just mentally broken, and like his behavior and like how, man, that scene, the scene that was really rough for me was when Barrett walks in and Dyne is like pretending he thinks that like his family's in front of him, but he's really not. And he's just like, hey,
Oh, yeah.
look who showed up. I was like, holy cow, what are you doing here? This is insane. This is rough to see all of this.
Yeah, it's gets
That
very
and
sad.
yeah, no, that and then just like how Dine's view of the story is like you were jealous of me the whole like the friend that saying that he was jealous the whole time, so you had to steal everything from me. Like, you know, you weren't number one and Barrett never ever wants to be the number one kind of thing.
Yeah.
And like you took my daughter, you took this, you took all this from me now, and now it looks like he's gonna take, you know, he's about to take his life because it came down to these two now adversaries, but we're best of friends. And again, Carl said the best, like it is the Western style thing is like there can only be one of us, you know, the Highlander moment. Like there's no way we can ever forgive this. I don't care what your side of the story is, I'm always gonna see you as a liar. You stole everything from me, and now we have to end this. Now no one's getting out of here unscathed. It's gonna be both of us, or it's for sure gonna be one of us.
I was also not ready for because they didn't do this, at least I don't remember the original game, where Barrett shows him the picture of Marlene, and
Yeah,
I'm like, oh my goodness, what are you doing? Like, I'm not ready for this. I'm still not ready for this.
I'm just like rooting. I'm like, come on, Dyne, get out of it. Come on, man.
Yeah, wake
Yeah,
up.
Go back.
Wake up.
Wake up.
Talk.
Yeah, and that's what you're kind of hoping for. You're like you're rooting for this enemy that's really not, but you're like just like listen to him. Like, you know, we see Barrett as what he is because like he's in a bar party, but you're just like, remember when he was your friend and you believed in him? Just do that, and then everything will be just fine. But
Yeah, it's like we all lost everything, man.
Yeah.
Shinra screwed us all over, man. Come on, man.
Man, so to kind of like close off that portion, I thought it was pretty crazy. You know, Barrett takes off his gun cannon, and he's just standing in front of this man, and that guy, you know, or Dyne, excuse me, he's like conflicting with himself. But then you have like the closing shot where basically Barrett is holding Dyne in his hand, and they both don't have, or his arms, excuse me, and they both don't have their gun cannons on, and that's like kind of like the most human moment, I guess, of that scene. Man, yeah, just the visuals of it and the music, of course. The fact that he just did it all solo. Now, what was interesting was, correct me if I'm wrong there, Jason, but people were not like really into this scene, right? Like I think Max brought it up that they were kind of. I think he said he didn't think like this whole sequence was necessary. If you might have to correct me on that because I remember him talking about it and he was saying that like this is very Japanese to do this, like this over dramatic, like embellishing of like this like character arc here. What were your thoughts about that? I know you're sold on it, but like, what did you see other
Yeah.
discourse around this per se, or?
No, the only thing I would say like that, and again, I try to like they have a direction, so I always try to figure out like what the direction is. So like, I think they lingered on it that way, especially with the taking off of the hand cannons that they both have, is like them going back to like how it ended how it began. Like they were two friends that didn't have this traumatic bonding thing where they both lost their hand because of the thing that kind of turned them against each other. So how can we go back to what it was again, them without their hand cannons, and just ending it. But I mean, I can see if people didn't like it because again, it just hangs on the moment of them just sitting there and just being quiet. But the quiet moments, I think, are the strongest moments sometimes.
Yeah, yeah, I could have said it better myself.
Dramatic effect.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So after that, you get outside and you meet up with the rest of your party, and then of course the board member guy shows up with his like amphibious mechanical mech, and you have to do another boss fight, but with the whole party. And that boss fight was interesting. Music was pretty goofy for that as well. I remember that being kind of funny. Yeah, and then after that, once you beat him,
I think this was because this I think this boss fight was later, if anything.
This is the one boss fight that I wish we didn't have right away. Just because I wanted we just had one and it was a very severe one. So now to get everybody together and be like, oh hey, you have another one. I didn't think it was like the right time personally.
Yeah.
But, like that was just for me for the pacing of something like I just got hit hard with this. I kind of want to just fixate on this part a little bit, but to then be like, oh hey, we found you guys. Here's another one. It's like I get it, but I was like, can we find another spot somewhere else maybe to add it or something, or maybe not have a boss fight, just be like, hey, here you are, then you guys just have to get out of here as quick as possible and have them run because again, they're just not in the right mind to fight because of what just happened.
yeah, and I think you got a point there because if they would have finished that last confrontation with Barandine and then you go to this next scene, which is you're trying to make an escape, and Dio shows up with the buggy, and you're able to drive around, but you have to basically escape from there, doing like a shooting mini game. If they would have just done that and then you kind of like defeat the boss that way temporarily, that would have been much better. It would have kind of transitioned a bit better, and then you could go back to because basically right after that sequence, you go back into the open world stuff, and that would have kind of been a nice gradual down curve of your emotions going back to kind of like being stable again. Whereas like you said, they throw a boss fight right in here, which this boss fight, I'm trying to remember because I know in this game we don't go to Rocket Town, but you do fight this guy in Rocket Town, the chairman, or the not chairman, the board member. But was this boss in that fight, or was it a different mech? This amphibious boss. But I think this could have been used later on, or maybe even part 3. So I understand your point there. I thought it was a bit jarring, boss fight to boss fight. So, man, hard mode's gonna be a pain whenever I get around to doing that. Well, anyway, so like I said, you go through the sequence where you're escaping from the desert, but you gotta like shoot down the mech again, and then you get to the scene where Kate Sith agrees to like join your party, and that was pretty cool because now like you have like this new party member, and you can have fun with the battles and whatnot and trying them out. Now from here, there are some scenes that show kind of like the backstory, or not backstory, behind the scenes stuff that's happening at Shinra with Rufus and what's the guy's name again? The guy controlling Kate Sith. I can't remember his name right now. So many characters, dude. What was
Oh
that?
crap! I see his face.
Oh.
Hold on. It's there, but I see his face.
No, help us out. Reeves.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm going through his like rotary. I'm like, nope. I'm like B, C, D. Nope. Okay, there we go. Like, I just remember the board member. I'm like, what's the board member's name? I'm like, it's Palmer. I'm like, why can't I couldn't even think of that.
Yep. Yeah, so from here too, you also get like I said, you get a sequence with Rufus and Glenn, which is like another mysterious thing that happens in the game. You're like, what is going on with with Rufus and Glenn, up back in Shinra, back in Midgard, and then we are treated once again to another Zack sequence, and you get to actually walk around Sector 5, the slums, excuse me, and interact with people. And it's pretty cool because you actually get to find Biggs, because that's who Zack's looking for, actually. And but then it ends it right there. Like, once you find Biggs, you're like, okay, now we're gonna stop you from seeing any more, and you're gonna get back to the main game. So my bad. After this point is when Kate Sith joins you, and then you can actually go around. And what's nice too is with the buggy. Before, if you remember from the Coastal del Sol area, there was a point where if you could try to get to the desert, it wouldn't let you because like there was some like floating wood in the way. And now with the buggy, you can actually traverse that. So it kind of opens up that whole Corel region, and you have the ability to kind of run around and explore. Now, during the exploration. I don't know if actually, let me just ask this, Carl. Did you immediately go to the next area, or did you run around the desert and look around? Did you?
I ran around the desert a little bit, but this is when I was starting to trail off towards the I'm kind of getting done with the side quest kind of deal, you know.
Gotcha. Okay.
So like this was like the last level from what I remember where I actually just explored a little bit because driving the car wasn't like an issue. I thought it was kind of funny. That,
Yeah.
Kate Sith wanted to drive the car too, so
Yeah, sit on
I was
Tifa's lap and drive the car.
yeah, exactly. I was having a fun time with it, but like yeah, this part in particular was like pretty much like one of the last like ones where I was getting into it,
Okay. Well, the reason why I'm asking you because I want to talk to Jason about this. So, one of the kind of like interesting side quests that you run into in this game is with that Kid Goblin character. I'm drawing a blank on if that's like the actual name or not. But anyways, like the little goblin character that talks to you with the Cactar. Excuse me, with the Cactar as well. And it was interesting because for me at least, it was a hot minute since I played the original game. I was like, was this goblin character in the original game? And then literally, I don't know, maybe a couple weeks ago, my wife was running around in the original game on the islands, and she ran into that creature as like an overworld enemy. I was like, oh, it was in the original game, and they just decided to make it like its own unique character instead of like a generic overworld creature. So, what were your thoughts about that and like that whole side quest of doing the Cactar stuff?
I remember that right now myself. Because like for me, like after like I didn't do a lot of the the extra stuff in the desert in this game because like as soon as like the dying stuff happened, I'm like, okay, this is where the avalanche, pun intended, I guess, starts happening for me. Is like I gotta get to these story parts because I didn't know how long the game was, but like I know in the original game after dying, a lot of the stuff starts ramping up really, really, really quick to what we eventually know what kind of happens. So I'm like, all right, if this is happening, the only thing I really stopped for was Queen's Blood, just because I could win the games pretty quickly, and I was like, okay, I could do this pretty fast. But a lot of things is like, okay, I got to get here next because I know it's gonna. I thought I knew what was going to be happening next and everything like that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we're gonna get to that here in a second. Yeah, I like just to kind of wrap up the desert area. I thought it was just kind of cool. Like, yeah, it is like extra content, so you can definitely skip it. And it does. This specific side quest I'm talking about plays into the Gilgamesh side quest with the the armor pieces. But I just thought it was like really goofy, especially with the Cactuar stuff and like they're doing like the pose and like the kind of like the bantering that happens between Cloud, Yuffie, and Red 13. Because that's kind of they like focuses on those characters for that side quest. So the mini game was a pain. I remember playing some of the mini games for like that side quest, but besides that, it was like interesting. It was just like an interesting thing to do. So, anyways, so without like embellishing even more, we'll get to one of the most like probably what resource heavy levels environments in this game, because the jungles are always going to be the most like resource heavy game or environments in video games. But I'm gonna see, Carl, how do you pronounce this jungle? How do you pronounce it?
Gungaga.
There you go. Okay. I wanted somebody more competent to say it before I mess it up live. So Gungaga. All right. I always say it wrong and my wife corrects me on it. So Gungaga. All right. Yeah, so Gungaga, you use the Doom buggy to get across and you get over there, and man,
I love Gungaga.
yeah, take it away, man.
I also hate Gungaga.
Yeah, without going into the main story, talk about like the environment and exploring and stuff like that. Because I know, you were telling me while you're playing it live, you're like, yeah, I'm starting to feel the overworld burnout. So, or the chocobo burnout or whatever. So go ahead and embellish us or whatever.
I like obviously that because I played this right after. What's the PSP game?
Crisis Core.
Crisis Core. Sorry, I was blanking hard on that one. After Crisis Core, so it was nice to see a more fleshed out version of Gungaga.
Yeah.
Like in its full glory, like we're talking tropical jungle and everything else like that, and just giant over the top mushrooms, little relics hidden over there. It gave you like the more I think about like Final Fantasy like 7, it feels like, you know, a very epic adventure, and you know they constantly find different ways. Like we went from like a Wild West kind of theme, little like quieter, like, you know, this is like a duel between men, you know, the standoff at the OK Corral kind of feel to it, to go straight into basically now we're in like the tropical jungle kind of feel for it, you know, like dangerous plants, you know, things are all around you that could just pop out of nowhere. But at the same time, this is also where I started to get like the open world burnout, where it's like another chocobo variant that I gotta learn. And
So, I think I think they did this in the original game too, and again because it goes back to back. But again, I don't know because I'm not a creator of the game, but I think they do what the such big thing is because again, our goal in the game is to save the planet, right? And we keep hearing the planet's dying, the planet's dying, the planet's dying. So we go to a city that, you know, the desert dead, everything like this. Then we go to a village or like a forest where the planet still seems alive. So to me, it's always like the yin and yang. It's like, yeah, the planet might be dying, but you guys are here to save what there is left of this planet, and the planet is actually still alive. It's not dying like everybody's saying it is. Yeah, I mean it is, but it isn't in a way. Like there's ways to save this place and make it look like what we're in right now here in Gungaga.
yeah, it's kind of weird, like the messaging that you're trying to say, but at the same time, it's you go from like Midgar, this very walled off city that you know focuses like basically all the ills of humanity in one spot, and then like when you
I mean,
leave the
because
city,
Midgar's almost like a prison. Because I mean, if you think about it, all the people they're like when they leave Midgar, they're like, this is the furthest we've ever stepped outside this place, and it's like just leaving it, and it's like, yeah. So like, I mean, I understand too, but yeah, it's like, yeah, like what they touch is they try to turn it into more of a prison than this alive world that we're now, you know, visiting everything.
It's the artificial world, and then it's like the real world, you know.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
And they kind of do like that thing where it's like, well, here's like the artificial unnatural place known as Midgar, and it's kind of located in the middle of a nowhere desert for basically for the most part. And then it goes to like those more like ideal, quiet, farm side towns. And then you go through another desert, and now you're in, a tropical rainforest. It does a good job like showing off the biodiversity of the world.
Yeah, that's why I know Jason said like remake is his favorite. For me, it's Rebirth because of like the diverse environment show you're running around in. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like Midgard and all, but I like some variety in my gameplay and seeing like a bunch of different environments and just soaking in like the level of detail and the craftsmanship that went into designing all of that. So
Yeah.
it was just crazy walking into Gungaga and you're like, wow, this jungle's thick. This is like insanely. I don't know. For me, sometimes it depends. If the game does a really good job at designing an environment like this, like Gungaga, I can sometimes feel. It's weird, but I can kind of feel in my mind the humidity or the heat of that place, and I just kind of felt that. Yeah, like because like jungles are humid, right? They're very like the trees and the sun and the moisture, and I could just kind of like feel it while I'm running around. I'm like just because of like
You're waiting for all the characters' hair to like frizz up and everything.
yeah, I was. Oh man, so all right, so we're gonna get to this really cool part, and so as you're like walking around and you kind of get done exploring, you could go up to you follow the main path and you get to like this interesting area, and you're like, oh, okay, so there's a village out here. And what was really cool was like as you're going up to this village, at least for me, this lady comes up, you're like, huh, who are you? You look a little bit familiar, but I can't really kind of picture it right now. And then like you're talking to this lady, and then all of a sudden the music kind of kicks in, you hear this like familiar theme. You're like, wait a second, is this who I think it is? And the theme kind of builds up, and then finally, like, she introduced herself. And I think all of us were really surprised to see this character. And I kind of want to open up to.
I know I was.
Okay, well, you know what? I'll let you take it away then, there, Carl. Like, how was that? How was it for you that initial interaction and whatnot?
To see Jose Canseco in the game, yeah, I was blown away.
I don't even know who that is, but
He's a baseball player.
of course. All right.
No, why'd you take it away, AC?
Well, okay, so for me, once again, I was playing this with my wife watching next to me, and she's seen Crisis Core, and we were just kind of like taken back. We're like, wait, Cisne is in the game. And it makes sense because if you play Crisis Core, you know what happens. She kind of like has okay, so the whole reason being is actually, you know what, I'm not even going to go into that because we'll get into that later. Just the fact that she's here, and if you're a big fan of the original game as well as Crisis Core, just really like, it blows you back. It just knocks you off your feet. Like, okay, this is really cool, and she's interacting with these people. You never thought that she would be interacting with the main party members. Right. And they have no idea who she is too, which is even better. So anyways, as you're kind of going around and you can explore this village a bit more. I actually liked her character design. I thought it was pretty cool. They gave her like a different outfit, and she's a little bit more there's a reason behind it. We'll get to it later, but she's a little bit more blended into the natural environment with like the villagers and how they look. Yeah, the locals. Yeah, she's been localized.
Yes, there you go. So then we should hate her because of that.
Yes, that's the logic behind it.
Yeah, but like I wanted to add this too here. That Crisis Core really is a huge component with this game, and if you haven't played Crisis Core, you really should go back there, because I also think that's why it made Rebirth so much more enjoyable to me. I know some people kind of are like really, on this game like a badger, because it's not living up to their childhood, I guess you could say. But I have no prior rose tinted glasses. I actually was originally a hater of remake, and Jason bullied me into retrying it again, and I've come to really like it. But I feel like why a lot of these parts in this game were so much better was because I played Crisis Core before I played Rebirth, and I wouldn't know who Sisane was. Like that scene would have just like went right over my head, and I would not have really understood like the significance of that, or I probably wouldn't have enjoyed, the story of Zack as much as I did. And I don't know if the people who are like ragging on this game played Crisis Core. I would assume they did, or if they didn't, I think a lot of this game would be a lot better to them if they actually played Crisis Core first before they played Rebirth. And if I recall correctly, it does line up with the release of these games, because I think they did Remake first, then they did Crisis Core, and now looking back on it, I think there was a massive reason why they released Crisis Core in between both of these games.
Yeah, I know, Jason. We've talked about this. They're like, it was all like it's a strategy behind it. They needed to kind of prepare people, and no one really saw it coming, I guess. The connections between Crisis Core and Rebirth, specifically with characters, and of course with Zack. So it was very smart for them to do that. It's also cool that basically a game that was trapped on the PSP can now be played on all the modern consoles. I think Xbox, but if not, like, obviously like PC.
It is on Xbox, yeah.
Okay, cool. So yeah, basically all the modern consoles. So it's a double win. It's a win for the Final Fantasy VII hardcore bros, because they get to play a cool game from their past. But it's also a win for us like collectors or game enthusiasts that want to play these like older games, but we don't. But we want to play them with like better handling and obviously like better graphics and everything. I did see, actually, you played the PS5 version, right there, Carl, for Reunion. Okay. Man, the 60 frames for that looks really good. I was watching my buddy Matt Cave Gaming play it, and I played it on PlayStation 4, and it was fine, like Pro, I should say, PlayStation 4 Pro, and it was fine. But seeing that
over here.
seeing the 60 frames for that game was pretty cool. I was like, okay, this looks like a completely different game. Did you, Jason? Did you actually go back and revisit Reunion, or Crisis Core, I should say? Did you play Reunion before Rebirth?
Yeah, I believe I played on the Switch.
Oh, you played. Okay, so you played on the Switch. Interesting.
I think I played it, yeah, because I mean I have it for the PlayStation as well, just because I like to have. I want all the Final Fantasies on PlayStation kind of thing, but I believe I played it on the Switch because I was like, I'm gonna play it on like on the go kind of thing, because it was a handheld game for me before, so I wanted to kind of keep it the same way.
Oh, totally agree. Yeah.
You have no idea how many people have been on me as a badger trying to buy my Crisis Core Steelbook, and I go no.
Oh yeah, the one I have too, right? The new one, right? Actually, I don't think there was a steelbook for the original, anyways. Yeah, everyone's trying to get it off of you. That's funny.
Yeah, they were. It's just like they're like, "Oh, I'll sell it to me." I'm like, "No."
Yeah. I don't know what else to really say about that, but just seeing Sisane, I really liked her character in Crisis Core, and having her come back was really cool and very well integrated. And we'll see more about her later. But to continue this, so once you get inside the village, you have the freedom to run around and explore, and there's some pretty funny sequences. So like, if you go to Sisane's house, you can actually have a funny situation with Yuffie, and she's singing her melody. She's singing her own theme song, but with words. I don't know if you guys remember that. And you can have a conversation with her too, to boost your relationship with her.
Yeah.
I thought that was funny. Like, okay, so they put words to this song, and she sings it because she's very full of herself. So, yeah, and then after that, if you go around, now for me and Jason, probably one of the first places we wanted to go to, was that very specific house. And do you know which house I'm talking about, Jason?
Yeah, I believe so.
The one with one of your party members.
The one with
Oh, shoot, I'm blanking. Not the. It's not the Tifa house, right? No.
No, it's with Aerith. You need to go visit a specific
Oh
house with Aerith.
no, I'm blanking right now.
You
I
go to
apologize.
you. I can answer this one. You go to Zach's parents' house.
Oh yes. Yes. Sorry, I'm blanking. I'm like, wait, where are we at?
Oh, sorry, my bad.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
it's okay. It's been a long time. Well, yeah, it's been since
For most of
December
you
of
guys,
last
yeah.
year. Yeah.
Yeah, so do you remember then how was your reaction and your thoughts when you were seeing this being played out now? The sequence between Aerith and Cloud inside Zack's house, or his family's house, I should say.
Yeah, it's just like, to me, this is where I thought, like, where Cloud kind of should have.
I can't say that because I guess because Cloud doesn't know what the heck's going on. Like to me, this is where I would have thought if anything was kind of crazy or just like a character in general, where Cloud kind of mental state should break a little bit more to be like, wait, is this not like a simulation, but like this isn't right, so this isn't what's going on kind of thing because Aerith has so much more going on in a way, and Cloud's just like, okay. But again, that's just Cloud, so I guess I can't say that either.
Yes.
Yeah, no, it's weird at the moment.
The dialogue in the scene was hitting me hard too, where they're just talking about like, we were like we had this, we're contacting Zach and like he stopped talking to us. I was like, oh, I think we know why. And then I thought it was so funny because they were saying like, yeah, he met a beautiful girl, and so anyways, just seeing this made the characters feel more alive. In my like the bottom line for that, and it was at least for me, it was pretty emotional just knowing the story up until that point and what's going on. Of course, Cloud is standing there confused and like not really grasping what happened. So. Anyways, that it was really cool to see this in this game. Like, okay, we another great moment from, or actually a very subtle moment in the original game, but now because of we know where we're at in the grander story, we get to see it again, but with a little bit more emotion and detail to it. So, anyways, yeah, it was interesting, and of course there was a little sequence with Aerith and Tifa as well, where they had an exchange about that scenario. Because what's been implied throughout the game is that those two girls are like talking to each other about the different situations and whatnot. So, anyway, so continuing this, the game gives you the opportunity to go around and explore Gaganga, and there's a lot of exploring to do. And like Carl said, with the chocobo, the flying chocobo, some of those challenges will definitely push you. I personally had no issue, but I might have been like super lucky in finding the correct path to get on and to get up to the mushroom to jump off of and everything. But I think you were saying, Carl, that like just some of those were just ridiculous, just trying to navigate through that. So
I was crashing into a lot of stuff, and the chocobo had as good of a turning radius as a semi truck.
That's perfect.
Yeah, so I was just smashing around everything like a drunk driver, just like, well, come on, turn, no, keep running forward. The part that annoyed me about this one in particular, I know Jason probably played this one because he's a Resident Evil and he's also a PlayStation guy. But like Resident Evil 4, when that came to PlayStation 2, there was a problem with that game in particular, where Leon would continue running forward sometimes with for some reason. It was just like in that one. In the GameCube version that wasn't like a thing, but in the PS2 port, for some reason, like if you would try to stop running with Leon, he'd just keep going forward. That's what it reminded me of a little bit with the chocobos running around this forest, sorry, not desert. Just like I'm constantly bumping off things. I keep running forward after I stopped. I was just like getting frustrated.
Like you're caught in between frames, but the frames like rounding up, so you have to move that extra extra frame almost.
Rounding up. That's great. It's got to catch up, yeah.
Yeah, so in particular there with Gangaga, it was just like I said, I was starting to get fatigued the level before, and then like the fatigue hit me to the point where going forward, any open worldness, I think there was like what 3 more open world levels after this, or
Yes.
2.
Or
Yeah,
excuse me, 2, yes.
I was just like, I'm out. I just want to beat this game now. I did a lot of the side missions in Gangaga, like the Turk base. I did all that stuff, and then after that, I was like, okay, I don't want to do anymore. I'm out. I want to continue the story and beat this game.
I don't blame you. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Whoever was gonna say something.
No, I would just say like, yeah, anytime now it felt like if there was like a sneaking mission, or like, hey, you need to take your time and kind of go a little bit slow, it's like, nope, this is not the right time, because again, we're running down this hill, and we got to get here, and anytime like anything kind of slowed us up, we're like it's like a big sigh, like, okay, come on, let's go. So even if it was something easy, but you just have to do it just a little slow because the game wants to keep you here, it's like, nope, I want to go. I want to go. Like, I know this is easy, but don't be in the game. Like, I just want to keep going. I want to keep going. That's how I felt, at least.
Yeah, I understand that. I kind of wish that I don't know how to explain this. I wish that I kind of knew, or I told myself, like, just focus on the main story, and then you, on a second playthrough, you can do all the side quests and stuff later. But I was just so, to me, depending on the game, if it has decent like open world traversal and side questing, then like I will get into it and I want to do it to completion. But for this game, I kind of wish I would have just focused on the main story, just to kind of like enjoy that without worrying about wasting time per se. But anyways, yeah, but that's the
best
beauty
thing about the game is like, you don't have to do that. Like, if you're one of those people that like can, like, for me, I'm so story driven with this game. Like, I have to see the story. So like, that's why when I was telling people like, oh, the people that didn't like this game, like, oh, I don't like this game because of this, is like, well, you don't have to do that. Like, that's why this game is actually like how you like this game better than remake, is like, if you want to just gold path this, go for it. But if you found something that like you want to go visit over there and you find that interesting, go do that. Or if you were like me and like the card game, and I had to do the card game as my mini game, like, I did all that stuff. But like, if you didn't want to do that, don't do that. Then again, you can have that second playthrough like you're talking about. Then just go do that on your second playthrough, so you at least can see what they put in the game for you. But yeah, like, there's many ways to tackle this game. You choose how you want to do it. So I mean, if you like this one thing, do it that way.
I feel like the problem is that there is this way too much of a oversaturation of open world kind of game. And
There's that too now.
That's like another problem. And to be fair to like the Final Fantasy VII heads that didn't like this game, it can be taxing. You know, we are almost on hour 3 of talking about this game, but we're on also probably what, hour 7 almost of how long we've been talking about this game, because there's so much thickness and detail into it that kind of like what we're saying here. It's like, you can play the game however you want. That's true, but there is a point in time where you just don't want to do the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. To be fair with like games like, say for example, like the Far Cry games, it's one map, you know? It's not like it's split up into like 30 different segments and you're traveling all over to craziness. Like the open world games are kind of more contained. With the Final Fantasy stuff, it's a bunch of open world maps. It's a bunch of hub worlds, and it can get a little taxing the more that you have to constantly repeat the process. You know, like I said, we got 2 more that are after this one even, you know, and that's not even including, you know, the Temple of the Ancients and Endgame from there too.
Yeah, one thing I was just thinking about is when it comes to a game like let's say this game for example, when they design these games, are they thinking like, okay, people are only gonna focus on this game and they're not gonna play like other games, so that's why they can dedicate more time to it and they won't really feel burnt out. Whereas I think Jason too, but like the three of us, we all play like multiple games at the same time, so
Yeah.
it can be a bit overwhelming when you're playing this massive open world game and then you have all these other games you want to play as well. And I'm not a single game type of player. I like to play a grazer, right? I like to play a lot of different games. Whereas I think like my buddy here, Nosferatu, he's more of like a single game type of player. So like this probably was his whole life for like 3 months or whatever, like really trying to dive
He's a
into it.
weirdo. Just say what he is. He's a weirdo.
He is a pretty big weirdo if he's still listening.
He's a nerd.
But that's just something I think about is like, I understand that there could be fatigue, but at the same time, it depends on the type of gamer you are. Are you a single player gamer or single game player? Or are you a multiple game player? And that could affect your levels of fatigue or whatever, burnout differently. So, anyway, so if you guys want, we could talk about that Turk side quest. If not, we could continue on to like the crazy part of this chapter. It's up to you if you guys had anything you wanted to share about. If you really want to talk about the Turk stuff. If not, I can keep pushing forward to keep cutting our way through the jungle.
I feel like Jason, I kind of want to just continue with the storyline, but if you want to talk about the side quest stuff, by all means.
I'm cool with however you want to go about doing it. Like Turk side quest stuff is always great. I love the Turks. But again, like I know for me for sure, a lot of the side quests, I definitely, if I missed it, I definitely read more about it than played it.
I got you. Okay.
Just to get my overall expectations on what this game's about and what is to come, kind of thing. Yeah, that's pretty much what I did.
All right. Well, we'll push on to the main story. So this is the part where it's all basically new. This whole chapter here is all new, and I want to make sure that I got this right as far as chapter goes. Yeah, chapter 9. So, so for Carl here, in the original game, when you get to Gongaga, it's just kind of like a traversal area. Like you just go through it to get to Cosmo Canyon afterwards. But in this game, they decided to add way more to the story here, which was insane, especially some of the crazy stuff that happens here. But yeah, so of course, I think if I remember correctly, this is the first time that you see the Whispers return in this game in Rebirth, which is weird because everybody thought we kind of like defeated them or whatever. And so
Yes.
why are they back? Because we got rid of them and they were already annoying in Remake. But it was really cool, like kind of just exploring this area, because basically what happened is there was an explosion, and then you guys are like, oh, something's happening at the reactor, and that's why you're going to the reactor. But as you're exploring the reactor, it's really neat just to see this environment. Like the jungle is kind of like reclaimed this reactor. I do know that in the original game, as well as Crisis Core, there's actually like one area of this reactor you can go to, but that's really it. You don't really go inside and do all this like puzzle stuff and explore it like a dungeon like this game does. So it was really cool to kind of go through here and see all this and just kind of have fun with it. And then finally you get to and I want to make sure I get this right. You get to a boss fight, and good old Scarlet appears with the mech that she had in the Yuffie DLC, which was kind of cool to see that return. And now you get to, instead of just fighting with Yuffie and Sonon, you actually can use some other party members to engage that boss with. So that was kind of cool to see all of that and have fun with that boss fight. I actually had a hard time with that boss fight. Oh, and I forgot to mention, the party actually gets split up. So the guys go, so Cloudbeard and Kate Sith go, and I think 13 as well. And then they go ahead, and then later on, once you beat the this red the Crimson Mare, I think that's what it's called. it cuts back to the village, and you see the three ladies, and then they head off to the reactor as well. And then once you get to the reactor with those three ladies, you kind of take a different path, which is kind of neat. So it shows a little bit a different angle of the reactor and whatnot in that area. And that's when you start a different boss fight. And Scarlet calls down this. Oh wait, hold on a second. Did I get this wrong here? Oh, my bad. I have it flipped. The ladies fight the Crimson Mare while the guys fight this weird like experiment. My bad. I had that flipped on accident. Yeah, because it makes sense because Yuffie fought the Crimson Mare in intermission. So, anyway, so those two boss fights back to back. Like I said, I had a difficult time with. I actually had a difficult time with Crimson Mare, but that was because I didn't set up my materia correctly. So, but I didn't know what I was getting into, so it only makes sense. Anyways, once you do these two boss fights, this is where you get a pretty crazy scene. And this scene, I think out of all the scenes in the game, this is one of the ones that kind of broke people, especially the haters in particular.
This was nuts.
Yeah,
Like, and I don't know why the haters hated this part. Like, this was like, yeah, you can tell there's a lot more to this than whatever meets the eyes, and also what Cloud is actually at full potential power that Sephiroth sees, and once in him, kind of comes out.
Yes. So basically, we kind of get. It's weird. We get like an entirely new scene, but it kind of cannibalizes from other moments in the original game. And I don't say that in a negative way. I think it's fine, and it was handled well. But yeah, so Cloud loses it, basically attacks Tifa, which is like out of nowhere, and then she falls into the Mako and gets basically swallowed by the weapon, like Jonah and the whale style, or Jonah and the fish. It wasn't a whale.
Let's back this up though a little bit before though.
Yeah, go ahead.
Like when he goes almost like crazy against the Shinra like troops.
Oh yes, my bad. Yes. I completely forgot about that. Yeah,
this is like before that. This is where like him literally blood on his face, killing these troops that are in fear of this guy because of what's going on. Like the one troop that he knocks in the air and just pushes his sword through, and then does his stumbly zombie walk to one that's on the ground just to shove a sword right through him. Like, yeah, there is like Cloud's on some crazy right here.
Yeah. So go ahead, Carl. I think you wanted to say something.
I didn't really have anything to say. It's just that that whole sequence with Tifa inside of the weapons was really cool.
Okay, we'll get to that. I'll let you indulge on that. No, I'm sorry, Jason. You're right about the whole sequence. Just it shows how scary Cloud can get when he's not in control of himself, and something else is controlling him. And then obviously the reaction and how he attacks Tifa. Yeah, I was kind of surprised to see the blood, considering that I was worried. Was this game? What was the rating in this game? Actually, let me look this up real quickly, because I know like depending on what they do, the rating can get hit pretty hard. So, but anyways, yeah, that scene was no one saw coming. It was a brand new situation. I think Carl was. I don't know. But before we get to the next part, like what was your like quick thoughts about this part? Did it work well? Like, did it work well with building up Cloud's like kind of broken mind, and then the fact that he kind of like turns on Tifa momentarily and attacks her, and like showing how it's like just how, not psychotic, but just how insane his mind is, to the point that he's just pure murdering, Shinra troopers like that. Because, yeah. Anyways, yeah. Go ahead.
It kind of keeps playing into like my theory for like part 3, basically.
All right, I'll have to. We gotta. Hopefully you have that written down, because when we do our part 3 talk, then we'll we'll definitely talk more about it. Apparently it's really T for teen, and I didn't think teen games would have blood. I guess maybe it's changed over the years.
Yeah, I mean, it's not too much blood, but like, because you see him attacking other soldiers, and you just see the regular hit sparks and everything like that. But like, there's just a little blood of like you can tell like, oh no, he's gone off the deep end.
Word. Okay. It going to the scene that Carl's waiting to talk about with the whole Jonah and the Whale sequence with Tifa, and you see her kind of like in the or I don't know if it's considered the live stream, but just underground or in the underwater and seeing like her memories and of her childhood and whatnot. Walk me through, I guess, Carl, like this whole sequence. Like it is a very interactive sequence, so you're just kind of like looking around and just seeing things play out. Like how was it for I guess for you for experiencing this first time?
Now I'm gonna say, like, I'm trying to remember. This whole sequence was like Tifa kind of reliving her life at the same time, right?
In a way, yes, in a way.
Yeah, like we were going through her childhood sequences of her mom and dad and everything else like that, what happened to people. And I think like the cool part was just seeing like the whispers and the counter whispers and like Sephiroth show up, and they're like this unseen fight that's going on, you know? I thought that was pretty cool how they were like doing like this whole kind of meta thing where it's like you're learning a lot about Tifa, but at the same time you're getting a glimpse of like the unseen battle that's going on while you're doing like your big battle, you know?
Yes. What I wanted to say about like going back to like how it cannibalizes, because what I said earlier, this was not in the original game, this part here, but what it does is it cannibalizes from a different scene, but it's not with Tifa, it's with Cloud, and I won't really say any more for that because I think they'll do something with that in part 3, so I'd rather just you see it for yourself there, Carl. But I think this is, and maybe Jason agrees, this is kind of building up to something very specific in part 3. I don't know if you have a theory a quick theory you want to share about that, Jason, on like how this is important for part 3.
I think this is going to be an importance in part 3, just because again, this is just shows how strong the weapons are, what their kind of point is, how much they actually have affecting in this world. That I don't know why Tifa was technically chosen to see all of this yet. But I think this is, I don't know. I battle myself back and forth when I start speaking on things that I think could be kind of thing, is because Aerith knows something. She knows what's going to be happening, and she's trying to pass some type of knowledge when she's gone, possibly. And maybe this was a way that Aerith is trying to help Tifa get a certain someone to realize what they are, because it kind of does happen that way in the original game, but it doesn't. So like, I think this is just another kind of way to show people there's more, without, and then keeping us kind of questioning it. I don't know. Like that's the weird thing, is like, why Tifa? But again, I also say why not? Because again, she has been the grounded one. So to have her kind of know more than she should know as well, I think is a great idea. And to kind of see what her purpose is also kind of nice, because again, in the original game, Tifa has a purpose, but it's not, to me, fully functional, except for being like, hey, you're the one who's supposed to get Cloud to snap out of this because you guys were, best of friends in the early as kids. When you see them as kids, they're like, yeah, they're friends, but they don't seem like the bestest of friends.
Yeah, it was just, man, yeah, this scene, I guess one thing is, at least for me, and what I've noticed, is that they've set stuff up in Remake and then it's kind of paid off in Rebirth. So I'm assuming they're going to do the same thing, and we'll just have to wait to
100%.
see. And I have confidence it will be paid off. Yeah. So, Carl, you said you liked it was really cool that the whole sequence, especially the part when Sephiroth appears. Now, I know Nos in the chat says this is a live stream because Sephiroth is here chilling. Um, I'm willing to believe that, but I don't know. For me, my understanding of the live stream is just not as like fleshed out as I guess others. So I need to look into it. But going back to the whole sequence with the baby weapon and Sephiroth and how he like attacks it, and it's like so strong that like even like Sephiroth's like, legendary sword couldn't even really do much to it. And then you see like you said, the anti-Whisper and the Whispers fighting against each other.
See, that's how you know it is the live stream, because the Whispers are there with him, hanging out.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. So that's interesting considering that Sephiroth and Tifa have a bit of a history, but it's more like Tifa has like a lot of I don't know if it's hatred, but like just like a disdain for him because of what he did to her. Probably hatred. Yeah, sorry, hatred towards her.
Yeah. Well,
Her dad
also
in
in
the
the-
town and everything.
Yes.
Yeah. And then also you got to think about it too. Like, so again, let's go back to the original game and how, again, this is why it is the live stream, is I kind of just mentioned before, but who is the one who brings Cloud back from the break? It's Tifa.
Yeah.
So if Sephiroth sees Tifa in the live stream, and that's why Sephiroth hates Tifa so much, is like he knows that if I get rid of Tifa, there's a chance Cloud doesn't make it back, and I get what I want. So that's why Sephiroth's like, hey, I see I'm here hanging out. Why is she here? If I get rid of her now and she never comes out of it, I got Cloud where I want. And that's kind of where, you kind of see Sephiroth walking away too with Cloud behind. And that's when Tifa wakes up. Is like, oh, crap. That's what's going to happen if I don't snap out of it and I get my friend back. He's like, I don't want him gone too. I have to wake up and help my friend even more. Like, is her a reason to like, I gotta get Cloud back now?
Yes. Yeah, that all makes sense. I don't know why I didn't think about that, but yes, about the because I'm trying to dance carefully because I don't want to ruin anything for Carl when he gets to part 3. So, anyways, the live stream confirmed. That's gonna be the hashtag. So, besides that, that whole sequence was interesting. I think they're also going to demo. I think that was kind of like a demo of what they might do with a certain, what do you call it, gameplay feature in the next game that's underwater. I think they might be doing something with that. So they're kind of testing, pun intended, testing the waters for it. So we'll see. But without anything else to really add to that, that just kind of ends that sequence. She makes a recovery from that. Cloud's kind of destroyed by that, the fact that he kind of like let that happen. So that's kind of interesting to see that. Obviously, Tifa is a very forgiving character, so she's definitely the necessary character in Cloud's life. Like you said, a very grounded character to keep him tied down in a good way, and obviously in a good way. So, but the rest of this chapter is just kind of free will. Like you interact with Cisne, and then after that you can do all the side quests. And there's some good ones, there's some bad ones. But it gives you the opportunity to kind of look around and enjoy the jungle environment. So, once you're done with that, we move on to the airstrip because one of the people there informed me that there's somebody at the airstrip, and we get a really cool. Or sorry, we go to the airstrip to call somebody. My bad. And I thought it was kind of funny, the whole like mechanic behind it. Like you gotta send up a smoke signal because there's no other way to contact this person. It's just to send up a smoke signal that they're gonna see from who knows where they're coming from, right? They could be on the other side of the planet, and somehow they're gonna see this smoke signal. But anyway, so we get introduced to a classic fan or what do you call it, like a fan favorite, and known as Sid. And I know there's a lot of contention around this character. I know you, Jason, and I, we've talked about it. Like his kind of like how do you call it? His character change. That's what I should say. Character change. And I know Carl knows nothing about it. which I don't mind. I don't mind getting into it here in a minute about what the character change is. But besides that, I like the design of him. I like the look of him. He's like a stereotypical bush pilot.
Yeah.
He wants to travel the world. He wants to do right for people, and I liked his interaction with the crew, even though it wasn't like a whole lot. But I think we'll get a lot more of that in part 3, so that'll be really cool. But well, for you being an older fan here, like, what was your initial like reaction to seeing Sid now in this version of Rebirth? Excuse me, Jason.
Yeah, I mean, looks wise, it's Sid. I'm still waiting to see again. The game's theme to me is what actually goes inside of you is not what they put out in front, like as the face that they wear. So I'm just waiting to see if they kind of go down that rabbit hole of how he was on the inside
Yes.
to become who he is, kind of thing. So I'm still waiting because again, that hasn't really hasn't been shown yet. But I mean, what they have for him wearing on the outside, that's what I expected. I'm just waiting to see what he feels about his wife and everything. We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. To give a little context to Carl, I know this is one of the main issues people have, I think, or one of the main / minor issues people have with this game is Sid's character change. And but that's just this game. Like Jason said, it actually makes a valid point. Is like it could be very different in part 3, knowing if we got what we got with Dine and Barrett, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we get something as ridiculous with Sid in part 3. So
and so far with every game that we've had at least the one breaking moment for every character, and that's why they're together. So we have to have it. Like every character has that one moment that this is why they are the way they are, and they have to go through it again to finally grow and become what they need to be, kind of thing. So
yes,
if Sid had unless they just decide you know what, Sid is just this guy that's out there gonna do this, I don't think the game's gonna do that. But I mean, it's gonna happen. How they choose to do it's gonna be interesting, but it's gonna happen.
Right.
Oh, sorry. I should throw it to Carl. What were your initial thoughts with Sid and like his introduction and whatnot, being a new character for you?
I thought it was cool. Like it felt like very flyboyish, you know. I don't. How can I say this? I know of him being like a bigger character, but in this game, to me, it felt like he was very small. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, I'm well aware of like him as a character. I know I'm kind of just like saying the same thing again, but like I was aware like he's part of it. It's kind of like Vincent as well.
Yeah.
Like I know of these characters, but like a lot of them are just kind of reduced to just very slim down roles in this game.
Which is funny because they made Sid I understand when you say they made Sid seem very small. I 100% understand what you mean by that, because even like how you just said Vincent, they made Vincent seem more of a bigger deal than they did Sid. And Sid's now been technically in 2 games, but all we know really of Sid is just all right, send a smoke signal, I'll fly wherever you want to be, blah 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 blah. But we don't know anything really of him except for cool, he's our pilot. That's cool.
Yeah, it feels like how can I say this? It feels like the first game was more like Cloud's story. Like it was all focused more around him, and you kind of got everyone else's deal. It was like Cloud and the original Avalanche group with Wedge Biggs and what's her
Jesse.
name? Jesse, thank you. It felt like their story in this one, and then when we get to this one, it feels like everyone else's story was massively expanded. Aerith's, obviously Tifa's, Barrett's, Red, all their stories got massively flushed out in this one. And on top of that too, you even got the Integrate DLC with the intermission, just all for Yuffie. So like it basically feels like they're filling out the roster's storylines, and then they kind of ran out of runway because this game is already incredibly long, and we haven't even got to Vincent yet. That's how long it is, you know. So
Which is, and it's funny because like I said, you haven't played the original. The original is kind of like this in a way. The only problem is in the original they packed so much, like, so instead of giving us these little things that, like, when we say it's not the original game or kind of going back to the original, put Sid and everybody else more compact together, and that's what the original game is. So like it's funny you say that because again, disc 1 is what you said, and then disc 2 is this gigantic world for figuring out like why should we care about Barrett, why should we care about Aerith, why should we care about Red 13, why should we care about these characters, why isn't it just a single player Cloud game and we just deal with that. Like that's what's so, for me, beloved about the first game is like it's a game of characters, not a game of just like this plot point, which yes it's there, but these characters that have to solve this plot.
they're really fleshing out a lot of these characters, but it feels like for me, as somebody that has no prior attachment to it, like this next game is going to be like more fleshing out on other characters that we see in this one, you know.
So
how they grow and how it ends, pretty much.
yeah,
basically.
So after you get on the plane, you fly off to Cosmo Canyon is where we're going next. We get a quick scene here with Roach and why am I blanking on names today? Evil Doctor guy. I can't remember his name right now. Good grief. Anyways, but he Roach, I guess.
Hojo?
Yeah, Hojo. Sorry,
Hojo
Mojo, yeah. So Roach volunteers to kind of like go under experiment with Hojo, and that was kind of interesting to see that because there's like they sprinkle little bits and pieces of a story with Shinra. So like Shinra's still doing Shinra stuff in the background while you guys are off on this fantastic adventure, globe-trotting adventure. So that it was just kind of like out of nowhere. You're like, oh, okay, that's Roach, and what's going on? He's getting a giant needle stuck into his arm, and what's going to happen here? So, and then why is Hojo clutching this like weird like alien-looking object or whatever? So, anyways, after that, you get to Cosmo Canyon, and this is where we basically jump into the 13 portion of the game, where we get more background for 13, and of course, I mean, if it wasn't Wild West enough in Coral Desert, you definitely get quite a bit of it out here with the music in Cosmo Canyon. But no, this place was fantastic, specifically the town you can go into, and just exploring the town here, especially for us lore guys. We know like what we're walking into, but just taking a minute to just embellish a little bit about the scenery. Mr. Globetrotter Carl here, I know like you were kind of done with the overworld stuff, but what did you think about Cosmo Canyon just in general, like the design of it, everything you can kind of see and go and do? Obviously, you could touch a little bit about the town too, but what are your opening thoughts about it?
Reminded me of New Mexico, and that's the best way I could say it. When we got to that canyon with all like the weird mountains and stuff like that, it kind of reminded me like we went back to like a Wild West area, but this was more like the noble savage kind of thing, you know. It's like the people who live in the mountains that try to escape the heat and everything else like that. That's what I kind of felt like when I was playing in this area, like where Jason said like the Golden Saucer area was like Las Vegas.
Yes.
This one reminded me of that more desolate New Mexico kind of feel to it.
So what you're saying is basically after the Square team got done partying up in Las Vegas, they took another business trip down to the Four Corners, to New Mexico and Arizona in that area, because they were basically in the neighborhood, and that they were able to do some research on environmental design down there too.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
like the tribal areas.
Yes.
Like they went to Native American reservation.
Yeah. So before I pass it over to Jason, just walking around in this area was really cool because it's like wooden structures. It's definitely got that like, um, it has like that Native American or like Indian type style architecture to it with the designs and stuff and the people's outfits. Um, it much bigger than I was expecting. It looked much prettier because in the OG game, I'm just trying to recall from memory here. I always thought that at least like the top of the mountain, where the observatory is, it looked a little bit too similar to like the metal structures that you see throughout the game, um, like dirty and maybe like not kept or whatever or rusty. But in this game, it's like completely different. Like it looks more like well kept and it's like more pretty looking, and they have a unique art style to it or architectural design to it and whatnot. So. Um, I want to fast forward to the part where we get to the top of this area, and then the party, including 13, meets a very important person up there, Jason. And when you got up to the top here and you started walking around the inside of this observatory, like what were your thoughts about all of this? Because this is like insane, just what was happening all in here, this interaction and stuff.
I'm like, about time. I'm gonna get some answers to what this crap's gonna be about, what's going on. All great, powerful Bugenhagen, tell me everything I need to know. Get me all my theories in order, please, 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 please. Let's go.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then it didn't happen.
Yeah, that's like the really funny part. I don't know. Carl doesn't really know about this, but basically, like, in a lot of like these theory videos leading up to Rebirth, a lot of people just kept saying like Bugenhagen's gonna have all the answers for us because he's like he's like the wise old man in the story, right? He knows everything. And it was just it led to disappointment basically because like you get there and you get the same spiel that you get in the original game of like
That's what you get.
Yeah.
Like, well, we knew that. You knew that already. You told us this before. What are you doing? You know more than that. You have to know more than that. And then, like, yeah, we were coping with ourselves. It's like, no, you know more. Please tell us more. And it's like, you're talking to your TV, and he's like, look at it. He's like, I don't know what you want from me. I told you everything I need to know. It's like, no, tell me more. You know more. You have to know more. Like, no. I just know that the world is about this place, and it's gonna do this. This is a meteor that's gonna come for us, and blah blah blah. It's like, but you've already told me this before. Yeah, disappointing is the right word, but not the right word because it's not like, oh man, but it's like you were set up for like the biggest lore dump of everything, and it's like you got the same story. It's like, no.
What were your thoughts about meeting this character, Carl, and like how what'd you think about like the library, observatory, sciencey type of place being a actually never mind, I don't know where I'm going with that. Sorry, take it away.
You know what? As somebody who like did not play the original, so what I took away from it, this guy kind of reminds me of Merlin a little bit from The Sword in the Stone. I don't know why. Like, I don't know if you guys ever seen that movie, but like when Arthur goes into like Merlin's like little castle, like it's all full of books and all this kind of crazy stuff. That's what it reminded me a lot of. That this guy's supposed to be like that wise wizard that answers questions, but he's like kind of kooky, so he doesn't really give you anything you're looking for. If anything, I thought the coolest part was everything that had to do with basically Red 13.
Yes. Yeah, that'll be after we get like a pre-rendered cinematic showing like the story, or they call it planetology, which is like really funny the terms that they use for that. But yeah, learning about life stream materia and all that stuff in the universe. Just Square flexing on their artist capability and their technology they can do with these pre-rendered cinematics. So but yeah, going to the Red 13 stuff, which we'll skip a little bit ahead, but it's just interesting because there's like a lot of like little bits of information you can hear from NPCs here and there, and then we have like this torch ceremony that happens because every kumbaya type of tribe needs to have like a torch, a burning ceremony of some sort. Obviously I'm being funny, but there's a greater purpose to this, and Aerith actually gets a bit more spotlight with that. And that was like just adds to it. It adds a bit more to playing on your emotions, especially for an older or a fan or a guy if you play the original game. Excuse me. But yeah, after that, that's when we get into that 13 sequence that you're talking about, which, I don't know, Jason, did you expect to play as 13, like not on his own, but like you get to play as him in a dungeon, like that was kind of out of nowhere. Like, oh, okay, now we're gonna be doing this. Like, okay,
Yeah, because I mean, we go to the Geek Cave for a little bit in the original game to do, to kind of do some stuff, but I didn't expect it to be almost like the trial of Red 13 in a way.
yeah, and it plays off of the last sequence with, or not last, but earlier one with Barrett and 13, but now it's like flipped. Now, Carl, like, what was your for this dungeon in particular? Like, you said you liked it. Now, was it more the story you liked, or did you like kind of like the dungeon itself and some of like the little tidbits of lore that was kind of being dropped here and there?
Ironically enough, I did really enjoy the little lore dump that we got of Red and how he lost his parents and everything else like that, and kind of like him coming to terms with his dad. That was like one of the bigger ones for sure. But I also just liked how it was like very weird that he went from like this deep, like sensual voice to like, "Hi guys, how you doing?"
Oh yeah. We I kind of forgot about that in the beginning, but so in the original game, they don't really like. I don't know how to explain this. You could read it that it's a different type of voice, but you don't kind of understand it per se. At least for me when I was playing it in the original game. But in this, they can do the voice acting. So like that really like took you back, I guess, Carl. Like just the change of voice. And in funny enough, it's the same voice actor that does it, so that's pretty impressive. Like I thought it was funny that he will speak in his kid's voice when he's around people he's comfortable with, but when he's not, then he obviously switches back to the older voice. I don't know if you picked that up, but anyways, yeah. What did you think about I guess the boss fight that comes up in this versus the Gi boss, Carl? Like leading up to it, there's like random Gi that you fight, and there's like a sequence you need to beat them in as well, because if you don't, they'll kind of like heal themselves or buff themselves and whatnot. When you got to the boss, what were your thoughts on that?
I don't really remember it too much, to be honest with you. I think I just kind of blew through it.
Steamrolled him.
Yeah. Excuse me. I really kind of messed him up, I think. So I don't remember that being like a challenge or anything.
No, I think I was in the same boat too. I think I beat it pretty quickly. Now what makes it interesting is basically for more or less the beginning of this dungeon to that point where after you beat the boss and you get to see 13's dad on the iconic hill defending the valley there, or the Vale, excuse me, the Vale. That is all pretty much more or less the same as the original game, except it's like a bit more embellished, like there's more to it. But then after this is where it kind of takes a crazy turn that I think nobody knew was going to happen. And I want Jason to kind of walk us through that with the Gi guy showing up and talking to the party members.
Yeah, because like so we get a boss fight with the Gi in the original game with the Soulfires, but like to kind of take it to the next level of being like, hey, this world is pretty not the way you think it is, and stuff like this has kind of happened before, and taking you on this, boat trip to the world and what's going on. This is where the game kind of gets to me, where all my theories and everything. I'm like, what? Like, I had scribbling, like I got answers, but I didn't get answers from the person I thought I was gonna get. Did I get answers in the right location? And maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours after playtime of where I thought I was gonna get it, yes. But it's like I had no idea what's going on now. Like, this is where me as a fan of the original game, I'm just like, okay, I am in the boat of what the f- is going on. Maybe
Yes.
some of the stuff I said is right, but what the hell? And then thank goodness for Yuffie, because I remember Yuffie, this is the time she was having her like quips of being seasick and everything like that. So like it had the nice, still funny like lore dump, but here's a little bit of comedy because we're giving you so much. We need to at least break some things up because I know you probably are feeling right now. You're probably honestly feeling like Yuffie. You're probably feeling sick because of this trip that we just took you on, and you have no idea what the hell is going on. But it's good for it in a way, and then also it kind of softens the blow of like you finally learn and again, this kind of goes back a little bit. We're talking about like the two voices. I've always looked at the deep low voice, that's Red 13's voice, but the kid voice, the real Red 13 is Nanaki, that's his voice. So that's what dictates like who's Red 13, who's Nanaki, is the voices he's speaking in a way. That's how I've always kind of interpreted it. But yeah, this part here is just like I to this, like going to chapter 10 and just watching cutscenes, I have to watch just to be like, what the heck is going on? And then I think we get into another we get into Zach soon too, don't we?
Yeah, so while you're on the boat, because the live stream is right there, and while you're on the boat, Aerith like touches the water, and then it quickly goes to a Zack sequence. And this sequence is interesting because Biggs is like thinking about it. He's like, wait, it shows Biggs, and he's like, I thought I died. Like, what's going on here? Why am I brought back? And then Zack is talking with him. He's like, yeah, I don't know how I survived my encounter, but we're both here, so we probably should make the best of this, because typical Zack being the most upbeat character. So we gotta keep marching forward and make the best of it. So this time around, you get to walk around with Zack, and I think you're following Biggs for a little bit too, and you actually I guess they're gonna like hatch a plan to go do something. Or Biggs was, sorry, and he was gonna recruit somebody. And it was really funny because you go to the the arena that's near Aerith's house, and lo and behold, none other than everyone's favorite fake mercenary, Kyrie, was waiting there. And because she thought like they were gonna go do something important, but then like they kind of ended up like backing out of it or whatever. It was or she backed out of it, I should say. But what's funny is like, so she brought a backpack. And if you go around the rock, because she hid the backpack there, if you go around the rock, it's still there. And if you like interact with it, there's a little message that pops up. I don't remember what it said, but it was like kind of funny. Like it looked like they were ready to go somewhere or something. So, anyways, just a little bit of tidbit like that. But yeah. So from that point on, it's just Zack goes back to the house and he interacts with Marlene again, which is really good. And then he goes back to Aerith and he talks to her. And then from there it cuts back to the river scene where they're back on the river, the main party. And now you're like in this weird location. You're like, where are we going?
My favorite thing about the river thing, like it's just a subtle thing, is like how Zack is so playful with Aerith. That's why I like Zack and Aerith. Like it should never ever be Cloud and Aerith ever, because of how great Zack and Aerith are together. Like they're so playful with each other. Like she's laying there just unconscious and she's like, hey, hello in there, wake up, it's time to do this. And then so gently caresses her one hand, and then and then it cuts back to her, but her hand's in there. She feels Zack's hand pretty much grab her hand in the river, and it's so damn cute and so great for those two.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, it was, man, that sequence got me a little bit choked up because I was like, I'm not ready for this. I don't want to relive this. It's like the meme of the Punisher, like screaming, no, 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 no. Like that was going through my mind.
Wait.
Yeah, 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 exactly. Yeah. So after that, you make landfall on this beach, and you're kind of like exploring this new area, completely new area, with the gi and everything, and you basically, I'm trying to see if there was a boss fight here or not. I don't think so. No, you're just kind of like you're trying to get up back to the main gi guy to talk to him, and you make this like interesting, or you have this interesting conversation with him, and you basically and 13, I believe, excuse me, Cloud and 13 make a promise that if they get the black materia, because the gi are fixated on this black materia, and this is something kind of new, or it is new and very interesting, is that the black materia has a very strong connection with the gi, which was not in the original game. And I really like this direction that they've taken with the story, because now, instead of the black materia just being like on its own, like not really having a connection other than it needs to be, the Sephiroth needs it, they've paired it with like a tribe, the gi, and they've given the gi this lore that they've had some conflict with the Cetra. So you got the black and white type of situation here, the good, or not good versus evil, but just two opposing sides. And I like how they've fleshed that out a little bit more with this sequence. But yeah, going back to Cloud and 13.
Yeah, like I didn't, like the black materia is new, but like I said, in the gi cave in the original game, that's where you get gravity.
Oh yes, yeah.
So I don't know what they're like. Obviously, the black materia isn't gravity, but like I said, there was a materia in the gi cave back in the original game. So I don't know if like the gravity of the situation is kind of like the black materia in a way, or they're doing something like that. But gravity was a pretty strong materia just in general. So yeah, it's something weird like that. I don't know, but there's a reason why. Obviously, I can't wait to figure out what it is though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean they do a good job at leaving us with more questions. So
Yep. And this is where I think out of this game the most questions come from this area of the game.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'll say that.
Once you're done with that, you basically make your escape from that area, and you're done with this whole Cosmo Canyon arc, with Booga hanging and all that. And this is where we basically need to go to Nibelheim. And this is like pretty cool because it's like the return to Nibelheim. So in the beginning of the game, the very first chapter of this game, you're here, but now you're back here many, many years later. And they do quite the interesting twist here with Nibelheim. And I think, Jason, you're going to have to help me out with this one as well. So once I get to it. But I know Carl here was fatigued from the open world stuff, but I really enjoyed the new Chocobo in this area because the verticality you had with it and being able to go all over the place with it. And I really liked the one side quest with the Chocobo Sage. Because did you even find the Chocobo Sage there, Carl, when you were in this area?
Nope.
You just blew past it and went straight to the town? Okay. Yeah, if you ever get the chance to like look up a video about it, it's just really funny, the Chocobo Stage, because it's completely different than what they did in the original game. But it's still like it works well within the context of this world and everything and this story. So I don't know what you thought about that, Jason. We could just talk about like real quickly, but with Chocobo Sage in this Nibelheim area.
This has been so long because like I beat this game in the first 2 weeks since the game was released. What I remember the most is like I remember getting on the tiny Bronco and just getting ready to go.
Yep. And then getting to Nibelheim. Yeah.
Yeah, getting to Nibelheim, and there was the cutscene. There was a cutscene there, and then what else? I'm going through everything real quick. Yeah, I'm not remembering off the top of my head.
Well, if we go to the town, to Nibelheim, it's completely changed. So basically,
yep,
they've converted it to this robed clinic or like Road People's Clinic or whatever, or not clinic, rehabilitation center or whatever. So like all of
Yeah,
these like
I remember Tifa's like freaking out. It's like, wait, I used to live here. Like, what's going on, kind of thing. And
yeah.
it's changed a little bit.
Yeah, and like nobody knows who these people are. Nobody knows who
Yeah.
Tifa and Cloud are.
Yeah, like they don't know the past of this. Yeah.
Which is crazy. Yeah.
Well, they've all been replaced.
Yes.
That's also why.
Yeah.
Yeah, like pretty much they rebuilt the city so like Shinra didn't get blamed for what they actually did. So they just like put people in here to be like, I don't know what you're talking about. This place has always been like this. Like we got rid of all the originals. I guess is the best way to say it.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead, Carl.
They did what they always do. Cover it up and replace the locals. That's what they did.
Before we.
But they
Oh.
they were like doing a bunch of like weird lore stuff though. Like I feel like we'd be remiss not to talk about it, but like everyone in the town's been replaced. They basically said, "Oh, sorry, sucks to suck, but you're a little late to get your paycheck for what happened here," you know? And then like they turned Tifa's house into I think like a place for people to just go. Like I forget, was like Cloud's old house becomes something different. It's like a kitchen.
Yes.
I want to say, and then like Tifa's house is like for people affected with Mako poisoning or something like that.
Yeah, and they kind of just take care of them in there, like a.
But they kept her room the same.
Yeah.
Because that's like just where a little bit after this, that's where Aerith and Cloud sit on the water tower, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're like, "Oh, was my house, and this was Tifa's house," and then Tifa goes into her room, and they're just sitting there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting if you put yourself in the character's shoes there, where it's like they revisit it and they're just like, man, this is like weird, just how everything's different, or just everything's the same but also different. Like I was just really trying to like take it in and really think about it from that angle, like. If that happened to me, just like go back and it's like, wait, what's going on here? Like everything's in place, but there's like different people and different atmosphere. But it also
I took it to.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. No, I said how I took it as instead of going back to your hometown, because I mean I grew up in my home. I live around my hometown. I took it as like going back to like when you go back to if you went away for college, kind of going back there. Like so when I went to U of I. I lived there for a couple of years, but anytime I go down to Champaign or anything like that, and things are different, but they're still the same. It's like, oh, I remember going here for this, or I used to live here. Like, I had to go down for like this is now several years ago. I had to go down there for one of my friend's family's funeral, but I was like, as I was down there, I was like, I drove by the house I lived in down there. I'm like, you see different cars there, and it's a little different, but a little the same. But it's like I used to live there, and then my apartment complex I used to live down there, it was bigger and a little bit different, and they added more to it. It's like, oh wow, I used to go this way, but I can't go that way. And then you see the like many of the things that you were accustomed to living near or by and stuff like that still be the same, but if you walked into that person's area or that room, it's like it's been probably what for me at the time 3 or 4 graduating classes later, and you're like, yeah, who the fuck are you?
It's basically like driving by your old high school and then you keep seeing add-ons to the high school.
Yeah, that's how they run too.
That's how I feel, but at the same time, it's like if they turned your like childhood home into a VA, you know?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
That's what it was. It's like going to your like hometown and finding out it just became a giant like VA center, you know?
Oh boy, yeah, that would. Oh man, I don't even want to get started on that. But
like, yeah, the thing is like, I just thought it was funny, because it's like you go to Tifa's room, it's still the same room. It's like
yeah,
they didn't even bother. They're like, oh, well, you used to live here. You can go look at your room. We didn't do anything with it. I'm like, what do you mean you didn't do anything with it? You know? It's like, yeah, we kept everything in order. The child bed, the piano, all your clothing. We didn't touch it at all, even though this whole village allegedly burned down. It's like, I thought that was just weird. You know, it was very, it's like there's no war in Ba Sing Se feeling to me. I'm just like, what's going on here?
I like that. No war bossing say, yep.
Yeah, that's what it felt like. It's just like all these people are like aware that it's not the same. They're basically telling you like, oh, sorry, but yeah, you can still look around. That's like cool and stuff. And it's just it's like so weird. Like it was very dystopian feeling of just like how nothing's changed, but things have changed at the same time. And I wouldn't say like it's bad, but it comes across as like weird. Like that, I think I don't know what their like direction was with this particular like part of the level.
Well, what I want to ask Jason is, in the original game, this wasn't like the rehabilitation center. It was just like it was just another village. It was a village rebuilt and then just repopulated with different people. Am I remembering that correctly?
Yeah, they didn't have like the anything like that. Yeah, it was just like they rebuilt the city and they just made sure all the originals were not there. Like this is a brand new city with the same name, so everything would be life would go on as it was that we had nothing to do with.
Yeah, and I almost feel like they should have did that for this game, because then if there was like a young girl or a boy living in Tifa's house, it would make sense why her room looks the same, instead of just like it's a rehabilitation and they have a piano room. Because you didn't know this, Carl, but one of the side quests is you play music on the piano for one of like the nurses or whatever, to like, I don't know, bring joy back to that area or something. So the piano had a purpose, but it would have made more sense if they stuck it to like the original way, where it's just, yeah, they didn't have the rope people there. But without saying too much on this, one thing I want to say before we move on to the manor is there was a really cool sequence. If you went to the hotel and you go up this, if you get inside the hotel and you're about to go up the stairs, you see like this weird after or like ghost image of Zack, and you're like, whoa, what is that? And yeah, you go up the stairs and then you have this weird sequence with Cloud like kind of remembering, or his memories are jogging about sitting down on the bed and talking to Zack, and they're talking about Aerith. And I don't know, because I'm not like that autistic, but I don't know if like the lines were line by line from Crisis Core, because they have a similar scene in Crisis Core. I just don't remember if they were line by line.
Are they talking about Aerith, or are they talking about Tifa? I always get confused. Like, is Cloud still now thinking that he's Zack and Zack's talking, or Cloud's talking to Zack that's on the bed, or vice versa? Because it's like, oh, you met a girl, didn't you? Blah 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 blah, and that's why we're at this town. So like, is it Cloud talking to Zack that Zack met Aerith, or is it Zack talking to Cloud that Cloud met Tifa?
Well,
This is where I'm getting confused.
Well, from the perspective,
I mean, it can work either way, but yes, yeah.
That all right. Yeah, reasons. We'll just move on from that. Yeah, so from here on, and I'm just gonna try to go a little bit quickly here. You go from you actually don't go from, well, you try to go to the manor, but you can't do anything there. So you actually have to go and reclimb the mountain to go back to the reactor. And so you kind of retrek more or less the same path to get back to the reactor, because you actually need to unlock a you got to unlock something in order to get to the manor, with Kate Sif helping you back at the town. So they do a little bit of stuff with Wutai in this sequence as well, because Wutai was here and then something happened, they got wrecked. And then after that, by the way, the party was split. You went with Tifa, Yuffie, and Cloud. And then this time, and I think 13, and then this time around, you go back to the manor, and you're with Kate Sith, Barrett, and Aerith, and this is where you get an interesting chapter or level that I think a lot of people were not really impressed with, and that is when you're controlling Kate Sith through his like mini dungeon or whatever. Now I'll let Jason start off with this. Like, what being a complicated relationship with Kate Sith and all that, like, how was it like controlling him through this like interesting environment and in this mini dungeon?
I mean, they did it fine, but again, I would
really wasn't gonna play Case Sith, so like trying to learn his gameplay wasn't on my radar to learn. So forcing me to learn it, cool. Like again, I'm happy they did because again, the game's about character. So if I don't play a character, then why should I care about it? And they put this character in my hands to be like, no, you should probably care about this one too. So here you go. Being all luck based as a character, I always hate. So like when you're rolling the dice and the dice matter about damage and then this matters about this and everything like that, that always gets me like, all right, here we go. We need to learn a way to do this. And then I remember not setting up materia the greatest with with Kate Sith as well. So grabbing as much as I can in a short period of time to kind of get this all set up was a pain. But again, getting it to what we know what Kate's this identity is going to be and the realization of what happens kind of thing does pay off a little bit later on. But yeah, having to play as Kate Sith, pain. But in the situation, I understood why.
Awkward silence. Awkward silence.
Yeah, quite. I was like, okay. But yeah. I'm trying to think of other things too.
Oh, he had to use the bathroom. I guess he just said.
Okay.
I just saw it.
All right. So yeah. So I mean, but yeah. After what we get Kate Sith for a little bit. What I know we don't get any crazy information about him yet. I'm trying to think of what else we get.
We really don't. I just hated this whole sequence where you just played as Kate Sith because, like you said, I hate his combat. He is the one character I will always just leave in the party and be like in the bench and be like, no, never, never. I hate you.
Let alone have to be the main focus part of it.
And yeah, this was like one of the one times in the game because I did like when they forced you to play as all the other characters.
Mm-hmm.
This was the one time I absolutely hated playing as a character, and especially because it was Kate Sith solo, which annoyed me even more.
Like if you just gave me an extra party member, maybe it would have been fine. But yeah, like as you just said, solo, that was the worst part of it.
Yeah, and he was the weakest for me because I never used him. I didn't have like a proper weapon to give him for this whole like charade. Like I understand what they're doing, but like this kind of comes into like the unnecessary padding stuff that I did not like, and this one in particular really was like the slow version.
This showed it. Yeah, this showed it. Like, just so like this showed us like we like this is the part where the game where it's like you don't need to pad the game. Like we want to live in this world. You don't need to force us to.
You've already padded it enough before this, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just like okay, I didn't want this, and like I said, I don't hate Kate Sith as a character. I just hate Kate Sith as a squad mate because I don't like his mechanics.
Sense. Yeah.
Squad mate. Interesting title there.
Well, companion, party member, whatever you want to say. It's like there's always one character that nobody just likes to bring along.
Yep.
There's always one, and it could be just like I find you boring, I find your personality boring, or I just don't like your gameplay mechanics is like another one. And Kate Sith is like the definition of like I hate your gameplay mechanics. Please go away.
Well.
Yeah.
So I understand the frustration. I think all of us shared that. Even though I sometimes I can be a bit more forgiving, but this time around, I didn't have an issue with the boss fight. I did all right with the enemy encounters, but yeah, the mini games were just kind of like, what is going on here? But like Jason said, they want you to care for these characters, so like playing as them individually is like one way of doing it. Maybe there was a better way of doing it. I'm not sure, but hopefully in the next game, part 3, when they do like their Sid and Vincent sequence, that it's not going to be as annoying or ridiculous, I guess. So Yeah. Besides
I
that,
mean,
oh, go ahead.
yeah, but I mean, Vincent. I'm just game theorizing for the next one. Like Vincent's would be, just going into the one cave and just be a little boss fight. But Vincent, the only thing bad about Vincent is, but I think they kind of proved that they kind of fixed it, is when you do your limit break, you have no control over the limit break. But I mean, if you become the beast, you can still do stuff. And then Sid's would be more of a pass thing because of, and unfortunately, I think Sid's would be more of a mini game, trying to, with the launch of the rocket and everything like that. So I don't know what those two could possibly, uh, you know, hurt, as a solo kind of thing.
Yeah.
Where this one was just like, it was just kind of there, just because like, hey, I think this is a good time to do it in a way. Because if we don't do it now, I don't think there's like, there's not a great time to do it, because we know his moment of what he's going to be doing is going to be happening soon, and possibly what his recovering from that part is going to be happening soon. So like, it's like we have to do it now, or we can't do it.
Yeah, that I can see that. Yeah, without anything else to really add to the whole manor sequence. I don't want to stand here all day, but the last thing I want to say about it is the Vincent fight that kind of comes up. So
Yeah. I should, before we do that, I did like the one boss fight where we finally got Lost Number. I hated they didn't call him the Lost Number.
Oh
But
yeah.
that was cool. Like when I saw that, the whatever specimen, or nameless or Varus specimen, whatever. Like when I first read it, said like doing too many physical attacks, do this too many. I'm like, yes, we got Lost Number. I was happy to see that happen.
Yeah, that was actually a really fun boss fight. Having to balance it out and everything. Yeah. Yeah, and then of course you have Kate Sith with you, so you gotta you gotta utilize him correctly for that. So, but no, after that boss fight, you get introduced to Vincent. You find that room, which is a really cool sequence, really funny sequence because he's not good with technology. So you get to kind of just see that. I think his character design looks sick as well. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, it looks really great. Very nice.
Oh, it's so good. And I'm so happy that Matt Mercer got to voice him, because Mercer wanted to be in this, like, Final Fantasy VII remake, wasn't cast, and Vincent's his favorite character. So if you get a chance and you see the prank that's on Matt Mercer for playing Vincent, please watch it. It's so good, because like he thought, like, he got called by Square just to go do various town folk voices, because I mean he's in like every game, but as he was reading the script, they play a joke on him, and it's so good because, again, Vincent's his favorite character, and if you know Matt Mercer's voice, like, it's a perfect Vincent voice. So it was really cool for him to be able to do that.
Yeah, I remember seeing that. It was pretty funny. Like they pulled a fast one on him. So
yeah,
excuse me. Yeah, I think it was what do you call it? The introduction of his character was really well done. Really sets him up, briefly, because you don't really get to do much with him in this game, but cool nonetheless. And of course, they did the unthinkable, and they had us fight him in a boss fight.
Yeah.
And
That was a pretty fun boss fight, yeah.
Yeah, and what makes it special is that's not just any like old boss fight. It's his limit break. It's Vincent and his limit break, and so yeah, like that was like, I was like, what is going on here? This is crazy that this is happening right now. So I don't know how that's gonna work in the next game then. If they've already shown us this, like how are they gonna nerf this, I guess you could say, in the next game. So but besides that, yeah, cool boss fight.
Maybe they don't. We can have overpowered characters, because again, all these characters are growing. Like, we have weapons, we have all god powerful Sephiroth, we have all this stuff. Like, there's no need to nerf. Just make the enemies stronger and us just as strong, because these characters are supposed to be the heroes of the world kind of thing, or the saviors of the world. Make them strong.
Yeah. Oh boy, it's gonna be like Dragon Ball and Final Fantasy.
Yeah, like I said, we don't need a power creep. Just make everything strong. Let's go.
Yeah, exactly. I wish they would allow you to kind of carry over your save data and just kind of cut the crap.
That would have been sick.
Yeah.
That would have been sick.
Yeah. Just like, have an option. Just make everything power scale and just let's go.
Yeah, dude. I think that would have it would have been a cool flex on technology or whatever to do that in modern gaming. To have that.
It's not that modern though. They've been doing. You could have done something like that going back to the PS2 days.
Yeah, I know like Mass Effect did that, right? With the character.
Mass Effect,
Yeah.
The .hack series lets you carry your save data over for all 4 games.
Yeah,
So
I don't understand why they didn't do it because like you said like those are older games, right? So in the modern gaming,
Yeah.
like the last 5 years or 10 years, I don't know any other game that's done that. So if they would have done it for this game, it would have been amazing because like no other game's really doing that.
Well,
So
especially because if you have save data, you got like special summons and everything. If you played like certain games, so like they do have the technology to read that you have a save.
yeah, yeah,
So, and plus, like if you had the PS4 version, you could cloud save, transfer it over to your PS5. You can upgrade it and everything else like that too. I'm just kind of getting tired of like the tutorial things. Like,
yeah.
At the like all these games, I feel like you could just save a lot of time and effort with like dev and just go like continue over or start anew and then here you go.
I agree, man. It's there. I don't know. I'm not sure why they don't. I don't know if it costs that much money for them to do that, but yeah. Anyway, so finishing up this Nibelheim chapter, we get basically one last boss fight because we gotta have a lot of boss fights in this game, and this one's an interesting one because Roach comes back, and you basically do a one-on-one duel with him and Cloud, which is like I don't know how it's like a bro duel basically, and it was actually a
That's
pretty
the best way.
yeah, and it was a pretty rough bro duel because the way it ends, like, I mean, he basically, well, he gets defeated, but he's like taken over by this experiment that Hojo did to him.
He's sent to the Shadow Realm.
There we go. Yeah, that works. Yeah, that was pretty rough. Like just seeing that, because I didn't mind him as a character. I thought he was a funny character to have in the game, but yeah, he got.
I enjoyed. This was a character that's new to the franchise that I enjoyed because, like, he's not. I mean, he is and he isn't. He's not doing anything for the bad. He's just doing it because like he thinks he is the top dog, and until he meets Cloud, and then him and Cloud have the same kinship, and all Roach wants to do is like, no, I'm better than you. I'm gonna do everything I can to be better than you, and then this is pretty much the payoff of it. You know, it's like, oh crap. And then Cloud realizes, oh shoot, is that my fate now too?
Yeah, that was, and you see that. I think you see that later on too, like Cloud coming to grips about it, because it's not just Roach. There's another character in the game too that you see get taken over by the Mako poisoning, and there's other moments where Cloud's worried about that, and I like how they really hammer that home, that Cloud's thinking about that. So, yeah, so that fight, it was an interesting fight, one-on-one. And after that, you can basically get on the plane to fly. You basically have to go back to Golden Saucer. So, but before that, we get an interesting cutscene with Shinra again, and this one kind of shows something unique with the Wutai people and like their organization, and how like they're making moves now, especially since like Shinra attacked Wutai at the reactor, and Rufus is like trying to get a handle on the situation. I like seeing this political stuff behind the scenes with Rufus and Shinra. I like Rufus as a character a lot in this game in particular. I don't know what your thoughts were on this, Jason, because this is kind of like all new stuff for us, like the lore people or whatever.
No, this is great because it finally shows like why Wutai and Shinra have this thing against each other. Right now, it shows what this is because again, I think next chapter, or maybe just a little bit later, we find out what actually is going on. But again, yeah, it just shows like, you know, there's a war going on too. That's why you see so much of like the soldiers and why they have all this stuff going on is because
the Wutai are bad, the Shinra are good, when we know it's not, but like what's really going on kind of thing. So yeah, it's very well put in.
Word. You got anything else to add, Carl, before we try to move on to the next big chapter, and hopefully we'll have to wrap up this next chapter and then continue the rest of the story on another stream.
I got none.
You got nothing? Oh, what was that, Jason?
We're going to be teasing the audience that's been listening to us, just like the games have been teasing us. Right when we get to the last few chapters, the big stuff, we're going to leave them wanting more.
We've been going almost 4 hours. Right?
Yeah.
No, I said.
Yeah, I'm just kind of fading here a little bit in my chair. It was a long day in the hot.
Yeah, so to try to speed up a bit, so we go back to Golden Saucer. Of course, we got to get this key to get to the Temple of the Ancients, and we gotta basically do a fight for Dio because he got badly beaten up. So there's a lot of dialogue there, and we go back to the hotel, and there's some interesting dialogue between like the different characters in the hotel. But the most interesting thing that happens again is we get another Zack sequence, and with Zack and Marlene, very touching moment, as well as Aerith's adopted mom, Elmra. And what's interesting is like the final part of that is basically Zack finds out that Biggs is gonna go plan something pretty big. I guess no pun intended there. And so he rushes off to go rescue him, because he doesn't want like to lose an ally, because he's kind of like a new friend that he's made, and Zack's a very caring person. So that whole sequence is really interesting. But the biggest thing that happened in that sequence, I was very shocked that they even teased this, Jason, and it was Marlene being this like soothsayer, this child soothsayer, and this is one of those things that was set up in Remake, and then they basically tied it up here in Rebirth. Where the moment in Remake where Marlene or Aerith goes to find Marlene in the seventh heaven, and she calms her down and she brings her over and she gives her a hug, and then there's like a quick flash and you see Marlene like kind of cry, and then after that you have Aerith kind of like shushing her with her finger, like don't say anything, and then the rest of the game happens. That kind of gets paid off in this sequence here with the Zack sequence, and Marlene is basically telling Zack that this man is going to kill Aerith. It's like,
yeah, I'm afraid when she wakes up, because a scary man in a black robe is going, or something like that, is going to kill her.
Yes, and I was like, whoa, wait, hold on a second, where are we going with this? Why are we dropping this right now? Like, this is just their way of like kind of teasing the old heads, the original guys. And at the same time, it probably is like confusing the new people that are playing this. How was that for you, Carl? Like, like just this little kid is like dropping more lore than Bugenhagen was.
Right.
It just kind of plays into like more of a theory later on that I have,
Okay, well we'll save that then. Yeah, so this was crazy. I actually kind of cringed, not cringed, but like I kind of was like I took a gasp, because when she broke the lore here, at this point my wife had not played the original game, and she didn't know she did not know what was gonna happen with Aerith. So I was like, oh no, please don't like spoil this for us already. But anyway, so and then what's funny is like Zack's like, he's like thinking about it, he's like, long gray hair. And he's like, really? Is this where this guy is going down the path that he's going down? That he's gonna be doing this? So I thought that was like really funny. So anyways, moving ahead, we get back to the real world, and this is the famous date sequence that you get to have with one of your party members. If you built up enough relationship points with that party member, and there's a lot of cool stuff that happens in this scene, in this sequence. So for me, I didn't farm enough relationship points with Aerith, so I had to go with Tifa. What was that with you guys? I'm guessing Carl probably had
to go.
No, go ahead.
You don't have to say it had to go. That sounds like a bad decision.
I wanted to go with Aerith because I wanted the ending of Rebirth to be more traumatic for my wife.
It was very traumatic.
Okay, I got you.
That's
I got
why.
you.
That's why.
It was very sad.
Yes. So both of you guys, I'm assuming, had Aerith as your dates for this.
No, obviously not.
No, I had Tifa.
Oh yeah, Tifa. Oh wow. Okay.
Of course he had Tifa. It's like his number one girl.
So yeah, you go on, you do the date sequence, which is pretty cool because you can you go to the theater and you see this insane production that they had no right in spending all of this budget on to to see the Loveless
wild.
play.
Yes.
Like
It was
this.
so over the top.
Yeah, it was so over the top, but it was just really good. Like it was fine. I think the mini game you play with the synchronization and all that was fine as well. I tell you what, it's much better than the original game because the original game, like the play made no sense. Like the theater thing, like just was like, what is happening here? In a bad way, I should say. But yeah, so this whole Loveless play was sick. I really liked it a lot. I actually sat. I think. Did you guys go back and do the date sequence for all the characters or no?
No, I watched a YouTube video.
I didn't get a chance to do it. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Also,
I went and did it, so
I
I
don't
had
know-
to sit through all of that.
Yeah. So I don't know if they did or not, but they definitely, if they didn't do like where you could do costume stuff, Cloud with the mask is like a Strider ninja. Looks badass. Just throwing that out there.
A costume for what exactly?
So like when in Cloud's Loveless costume with the mask and
Yes.
red and like if that's not a costume in the game, because again I didn't unlock all the costumes. If that isn't one, that needs to be one. But with him with the blue cape and the mask, Cloud looks pretty badass.
Oh yes, yeah. I want to say the costume is, but not the mask.
Okay, yeah, the mask makes it looks awesome.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. Yeah, and if not, if you play on PC, there's mods for that. But
Yeah.
yeah. So the whole Loveless scene was crazy, all the way up until the point where this, like I said, I had to see this like 5 times, and all 5 times it destroyed me. With Aerith singing a solo, that whole like production for that. Good grief! I just kind of want to skip that because I don't want to get back into that state of mind that I was in during that time. But yeah, so anyways, Loveless was really cool. I would love to see a real life version of all this. Does somebody want to say something? No.
I was gonna say you also left out like the other sad part too, that we see Jesse again.
Yeah, there's a reason why I left it out because that is very emotional there. But yeah, the ending of her little solo, you see like the Avalanche team in like the weird digital world that they're in, the VR world that they're in right now. And yeah, that was rough. Dude, seeing that 5 times, man, of course I was not going to bring that up. Like I
Have
can't
to bring it up.
For-
Face your
but
fears.
But it's so nice too because like you actually finally get to see Jessie
perform.
have her
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, you get to see her what she wanted to do her whole entire life. That actually comes true, which I'm so happy that I was right on that part. Like by then, like again, it was an easier one to predict, but I was like, Jesse's gonna be part of the Loveless play. I know it. Like, and then when that happened, I was like, cool. I got an easy point, but it was again, it is very emotional. It's like, cool. She got to do what she wanted to become or what she wanted to do. She fulfilled her dream.
Yeah, and my bad for kind of bulldozing through that because I forgot that initially when I saw the poster, because there's a poster of Jessie in the theater there, I'm like, oh,
Yes.
so she'll be here, but like, how would she be here? And then
Right.
we saw it was like a virtual reality world. I'm like, oh, that's really clever how they did that, but that just hurts even more now. So
She got to be a star, Cloud, I think said, right?
yes, yeah, yes. And it was really funny, or kind of like even more emotional, is like after you see her dancing and or whatever, and you the camera pans to the audience and it shows the different members of your party, and of course like Barrett is in tears, I think Tifa's in tears, And they're like the only two people that really know her outside of everyone else. Yeah, like that was really interesting to see that. So, yeah.
I also like that Red and Barrett were also in the play too.
Yeah, that's true. Yes, and like there's the option to choose like who you're gonna kiss, and they give you the option to choose all three of them. The girl you go on a date with, or actually it's a girl, the dog or the lion creature, and then the general. And there's like an option to choose either three of them. Yeah. Um. Yeah. So after that, getting just after going through a box of tissues there, you go to the sky wheel. And the sky wheel is pretty cool because depending on the character that you're with, you can have some crazy lore dump or just like an emotional experience with that character. And that was really fun, really interesting. Let's see. Oh no, my bad. Jason has not seen it, so I'm not gonna say anything about it then. So definitely go and watch it or play it, Jason, because I'm not gonna spoil anything for you. I think you should definitely enjoy that without any spoilers. After that, we get to the actual combat, like the actual boss time, like the arena we need to do. And I don't know about you guys. What were your guys' thoughts on this, like kind of like gauntlet you go through? You fighting a bunch of small enemies, and then the boss appears. Like I'll start with Carl. Like, what was your opinion on all this first sequence, I should say?
Of the arena?
Yeah, the arena where you fight like a bunch of random enemies. You do fight like a Corneo Tonberry, and then you do fight Corneo after that.
I didn't really have. I don't really have too much thoughts about it. It just felt like another arena kind of deal. It didn't have like the same fun as like Hell House. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. Okay. What about? Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Like the Tomberry part was like cool. They could one shot you, but besides that, I didn't have like too many other thoughts about it. I thought the arena in the first game was much better.
I like the Corneo Tonberry or whatever. I thought that was like a really funny looking creature. I don't know how that's possible, but I was not really looking forward to fighting Abzu again. I'm not one of my favorite bosses. But what about you, Jason? Like this first part of the arena, how was it for you? And like compared to like the original game, of course.
It was interesting because like this is the time where it's like, man, we just had this was the time of the game where I was like, okay, I needed gameplay because I've been just story mentally not drained in a bad way, but just like I need something to give my emotions a check because of all the stuff that just has gone on. Give me something to kind of like reset myself. So this was a great spot to put this because it's like, all right, cool. Let me play this game because there's going to be even more coming and I need to kind of rest before I get to that kind of spot.
I agree with that. I guess maybe in a later time we could talk about pacing, like how you guys thought about pacing for this game with all of these different moments. But yeah, I understand that. It's like, okay, we sat through the theater, now it's time to go outside and play. And so
yeah. And again, and it's not like in a bad like pacing issue. It's just like me mentally, I'm like, there's more craziness coming and I need like if watching this as a movie, it's like, all right, cool. I know for the next hour I'm just gonna be a broken person, possibly. So it's kind of
I need a
nice
distraction.
to like, all right. Yeah, it's kind of instead of just like pausing and like, all right, let's go kind of thing. It's just like, nope, I know I have this to break it up just a tad bit.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. I totally agree. Especially what comes after next, but like
right, and it's because again we get this break this way, and then we get into the game's over, and then we get to the other Kate Seth part with what was it with Elena and
Uh,
Rufus
yeah.
or
Well, not
Rude,
Rude.
yeah,
No, Rude. It's Rude and Elena.
Rude,
Yeah,
yeah, Rude and Elena. That's right.
yeah. So jumping into that, you basically have a two-part boss battle. So you start with the Turks, and then once you beat them, Rufus shows up, and you fight Rufus in this arena. Um, I I liked the fight, but I also hated that his fight because of how challenging it was. It might have been my materia setup, but fighting two unique boss or two different bosses back to back like that is a bit tricky. Oh, one thing I'll say is I liked how after you got done beating Corneo, then like the Turks show up and they're like, and you're just thinking like, oh my goodness, I have to fight the Turks now. I still need to like heal. I want to reset my materia, and then Dio comes in with the save, and he's like, no, if you guys are gonna fight, you need to have like be on equal
by the
footing. Yeah, and so he brings out like a bench and a vending machine, and it's like, okay, cool. Now I can actually like prepare for this fight. I thought that was hilarious. It was perfect. So yeah, anyways, it just I like that kind of comedy to it. Like it worked really well with this setting. But yeah, so after you fight the Turks and you fight Rufus, we get an interesting part of the story where Kate Sif basically betrays you guys or betrays the party, and that really affects a lot of people here. You basically chase them around the Golden Saucer, and then finally you catch up to him. The Turks get, or the Shinra gets away with the key, which is really irritating, and that is where we're gonna leave the stream at. We're gonna leave it with with Shinra getting away with the key, and we'll have to pick this up next time with the final two chapters of this game. And the final two chapters are, man, there's a lot to really dive into with that. So, but yeah, I appreciate both of you gentlemen for hanging in as long as you guys have. I know this was like a long stream, especially for the people watching at home. I guess before we get out of here, if you can give me some closing thoughts on Mount Corel to now, and it could be anything. It could be anything from pacing to like some favorite moments that we might have missed. Just something if you could think of the top of your head with your tired minds here. I just want to hear one last closing thought. So I'll start with Carl. Give me something about what you've enjoyed up to this point with the game, or anything I should say.
Like I think I said it best earlier. It's really nice that we are getting a full flushed out character like background and everything with a lot of these characters, Red, Barrett, and of course Tifa. I do like a lot of stuff, but I feel like there's also a lot of drag in the middle of this story that I wasn't really a super huge fan of. But that being said, we are past a lot of that part, and next time we gotta work out a date. But like now we're about to get to like where this game really shines and excels, and that is the end game.
Yes.
And I want to say like there's still a lot of good with this game for sure. And I feel like we spent almost 7 hours just talking about this game from the last two podcasts combined. So it just goes to show you just how much like richness and deepness and lore is in this game. That I do find it kind of funny that people could just hate on this.
Jason, what about you, my friend?
Yeah, so my one-word answer for how I feel about this game is just development, and that could be for everything. It's character development, it's game development, it's everything like that. Carl kind of stole a little bit me, but like I said, I love the characters in this game, so the more we can stay with them, the more we can learn, the more we can choose which one's our favorite. Which do we like Tifa? Do we want Aerith as our date? Do we want this? Do we want that? Do we want to change something else around? Do we not like Aerith or anything like that? We want to go on a date with the boys. Anything like that is so great.
and then just the game development in general and how and what they changed to kind of tell the same story, but different, especially for people that are coming in here thinking they know all the answers, and they're like, you know a little bit of them, but guess what? You don't know all of them, and maybe at the end, the fans know everything and everything happens the same way. But even if it didn't, or if it does, or even if it didn't, the ride that we're on is just kind of crazy.
Yeah, that's the ride we're on. The ride we were on, yes. Um, I like thinking back to like the very beginning of the game and how like Carl was telling me just like this is like probably one of the best openings to a video game ever. And then now we're gonna get to the ending of the game. I'm kind of curious how that will reflect it too. But yeah, for me, just if I wasn't in this video game challenge and I wasn't playing like 13 other games at the same time, I probably would have 100% of this game already. Just because I really enjoyed a lot of it, and I would have forced myself to like play the mini games and just try to like see what I can get from them. Except for one, I know one of the games, the robot one, is atrocious, but and it's easily broken. But besides that, I like it when a game, especially when a lot of time and money is put into a game like this, that if things like make sense in the world itself, like the structures, the environments, the amount of people that are there, the amount of like I don't know, dwellings and stuff, the transition from one environment to the next, like I don't know, I'm a sucker for like world design now. I don't know why, it's just how it's come for me, and I really liked a lot of what this game has done for me with that aspect. But yeah, of course, like the stuff you guys already mentioned, I agree with the story and yeah. Anyways, it's just I just love this game a lot. It was a lot of fun. I look forward to replaying it again. But hopefully the next time we stream this will be much sooner, and we'll be able to wrap up the last two chapters, which are insane. And of course, I like to dedicate some time to theory crafting and some final thoughts about this before we move into the official part 3 of the game. So without anything else to really add, I want you guys to let people know as far as excuse me, some shilling for your channels. You got a top 5 coming up here, Jason, by any chance?
It's a great question to ask me. I'm not 100% sure. I've been off. This has been my first time online in quite a few bit, just because of being sick and everything. So it's kind of nice being back online. Let's see. I think on August 12th might be the next top 5. I might be there just producing it. But I think Nerdy Neo's doing Stargate finally, because he'd been watching it once he was gone. So he's like, I've been watching a lot of SG1. I think I'm ready to do top 5, and I'm like, go for it. I might be there just to produce it, but I won't have anything to kind of share because I don't know anything about it. But like the next gaming big one, I think might be the 26th of August. And I think that might be Nintendo 64, but that's what I just have written down right here. But yeah, me online. You could come to my channel if you like to. I've been off of it for a while just because, like I said, kind of recouping after the last couple months beating the crap out of me. But hopefully soon be back doing some more stuff. This was kind of my first step of, talking into this mic and kind of doing things again. So thank you, AC, for letting me kind of do that again.
Yeah, man, we gotta have you here. Otherwise, Carl and I are the fake fans, so we need to have the authentic FS7 fan here. Otherwise, no one will listen to us.
To me, like I said, you could be a step 1 fan, you could be a step 99 fan. Like if a fan's a fan. Like if you hear someone like me speaking about the game and then you just have your impressions of what I say, like that's not going to be interesting. Like it could be somebody brand new speaking and I hear something, be like, wait, that makes so much more sense, because it's great to hear all different sides and shapes and whatever affects you on this game. It's always great to hear that, because for me, I learn and sometimes even
when I'm speaking to you guys and I say something online, like I did it today. I said, I'm like, wait, that to me that didn't make any sense. But then you guys were saying stuff, and the reason why to me it didn't make sense is because some of the stuff you've been saying, like that, kind of adds a little bit more to part of what I'm saying, but makes a little bit more sense to what you guys are saying. So it's great. Like I said, this game, to me, for FF7, there should be no gatekeeping. This game's great. The more people that play it, the better. Like I said, it's to me, it's such a great game because of what it means to so many different people. So yeah, you could be whatever fan you want to be of the game, as long as that you're a fan. That's what's nice about it.
Awesome. I appreciate it, man. Carl, take it away. What do you got coming up? Because you always got something coming up.
Tomorrow I'll be back with 2 episodes of Legacy Loading. I will be joined at noon Central tomorrow with my buddy, one of the original co-hosts, Mr. JM. We're going to be watching a Tomb Raider documentary, and we'll be talking about Tomb Raider. And then later that night, around 8 p.m. Central, I'll be joined by my friend Sophomore John as we talk about John Madden football. So we'll be watching a documentary about that, and we'll also be kind of talking about, as always, a little bit about the series. And for the people who like sports, we'll be talking about sports because over here in America, training camps have opened for football. So stop on by, and you can talk about your favorite football team later at night as well. Besides that, I might have a couple other shows. I got to talk with some guests about that. But kind of been a little slowed down. You know, summer's coming to an end. I got some stuff planned, but still plenty of more stuff to come. And hopefully I can have more recorded content coming up soon. But yeah, as people are saying, my audio is very low for some reason tonight. So I don't know what's going on again. Probably have to go back to the drawing board.
Yeah, I don't know. I boosted you up to max on Discord. It is what it is. So, but at least I think people will still be able to hear you. So.
Yeah. Well, am I low to you guys? That's another.
No, you're not. And
yeah, so
they said
that's weird.
Jason was fine. So I don't know. Yeah, it's streaming. The lovely joys of streaming and audio issues. So. Yeah, I appreciate both your times. You guys check out both Jason and Carl. Yeah, Carl, I know you're busy with a lot of streams, gaming-related stuff. You've been hammering out a ridiculous amount of streams recently. And then Jason and Neo are always having fun with Top 5. I really wish I could go to that Stargate one because I love Stargate, but you guys always stream while I'm working, so I'll have to sit in the chat and interact that way. But yeah, as for me, I might actually do a stream Sunday morning for you guys in the US. That might happen, so we'll see. If not, there'll be a stream next week. I think I'll probably continue my Super Mario Galaxy 2 adventure. That's what I've been playing through right now on stream. And then the big announcement is for next month, my theming for next month is going to be, I've titled it Bionicle Month. Because they have this kind of thing in the community where they call it Bio Day or Bionicle Day, which is August 10th. So 8B and then 10, 10, or IO, excuse me. And so I decided, you know what, instead of a single day, I'm just going to dedicate a whole month, meaning I'm going to be playing one game the entire, I'll be streaming one game the entire month. But I'm going to be doing something a bit special, and I'll post it on YouTube, on Twitter as well. And I do have 2 special guests lined up to chat about Bionicle stuff. So that's what I'm doing for the month of August. And still chipping away at this gaming challenge, which has been draining my soul ever so slowly. So besides that, I thought I had one other thing I wanted to let you guys know. But I appreciate you guys' time. I know it's really late, so we'll end this here shortly with a same outro video as last time because I love the video that I made. But shout out to the chat. Thanks for Nos for hanging out and giving us some lore, as well as Snap for coming in. I know you'll check out the vlog, or excuse me, the replay later. Janet Banana, go play this game. I know you haven't played this game yet, so you should definitely go play this game. And for everybody else catching us on the replay, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll see you guys later.
Hey, anybody there?
So, I hear you've been pretty busy.